Chapter 325. Who said I only hit your men? Lu Ming smiled and stepped toward the young prince. The young prince's expression changed greatly. He shouted in disbelief, What are you doing? How dare you hit me? You're offending your superior. You're treacherous. Slap. Lu Ming slapped him in the face. The young prince didn't even have time to react before he was slapped in the face by Lu Ming. He didn't stop until he spun 3 times on the ground. He stared at Lu Ming in a daze. He was completely dumbfounded. Lu Ming really dared to hit him? In the Yinhua Empire, the royal family had supreme authority. His father, Jinan Wang, was the commander of all the troops in the south of the Yinhua Empire. It could be said that he was second only to one person. As the only son of Jinan Wang, his status was so noble that no one dared to disobey him, let alone hit him. He even doubted that he was dreaming. However, the piercing pain on his face told him that this was real and not a dream. Therefore he screamed hysterically, How dare you hit me? How dare you hit me? You're dead. Your whole family is dead. No one can save you. Slap. Lu Ming slapped him again on the other side of his face. The young prince saw stars and was completely dumbfounded. He forced himself to swallow back a string of vicious words. You said that you had power and strength and were superior to others. You regarded others as lowly ants and could bully them at will. But now I'm stronger than you, so you're also an ant in front of me. Am I wrong to say that you're a piece of lowly shit? Lu Ming stared at the young prince and said coldly, The young prince's face was swollen like a pig's head. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. No matter how stupid he was, he could see that Lu Ming was not afraid of him at all. He didn't know what to say for a moment. What? You don't dare to speak? Where's your courage just now? Lu Ming's eyes were like 2 sharp swords as he stared at the young prince. The young prince felt a chill run down his spine. He retreated and shouted, What are you doing? My royal father's army is not far from Sutian City. If you dare to touch me, not only will you die, the Mo family will also be buried with you. Really? Then I'll kill you first. Let's see what your father can do to me. Lu Ming sneered, completely unmoved. He took a step forward and a cold killing intent erupted, making the scene seem like it was winter. No. 2 shouts rang out at the same time. One of them came from the young prince. He screamed in horror and was almost scared out of his wits. The other one came from Imoing. Lu Ming frowned slightly and stopped in his tracks. Brother Lu, he is after all the son of the South Protecting Prince. If he dies in the Mo clan, the South Protecting Prince will be enraged and raze the Mo clan to the ground. Please spare his life, Brother Lu. Imoing pleaded. Lu Ming nodded and looked at the young prince. He scolded, Seeing that Miss Imoing pleaded for you, I'll spare your life. Get lost. The young prince felt as if he had been pardoned. He ignored the pot-bellied old man and ran away, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming did not continue to attack. It was not that he wanted to let the tiger go back to the mountain. As Imoing said, he was not afraid of killing the young prince, but it would definitely implicate Imoing and the Mo family. Brother Lu, I've implicated you. Imoing walked to Lu Ming's side and said apologetically. Haha, what does this have to do with you? It's normal to meet brainless idiots everywhere. Lu Ming smiled. Then they helped Bai treat her injuries. Not long after, an angry roar came from a luxurious mansion in Sutian City. Damned little bitch, damned bastard, die. Damn it, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a man. In a hall, the young prince's face was ferocious. He roared again and again, smashing the tables and chairs in the hall. On both sides of the hall, there were 5 or 6 figures standing. They did not even dare to breathe. After a while, the young prince Yin Jiufeng gradually calmed down. Young prince, it's all because of that little bastard called Lu Ming. I don't know what kind of drug he used on Imoing. When Imoing saw him, she seemed to be fascinated. It's really hateful. A gloomy voice sounded. It was Imo Bing. At this time, his legs were still wrapped in thick plaster. Obviously, the legs that were broken by Lu Ming had not recovered. Imoing, that little bitch. I thought she was a chaste woman, but she turned out to be a slut. Seeing that she was about to die, I wanted to have sex with her first. It's a pity that such a beauty died like that. Now that she's with that little bastard, I can't wait to kill her immediately. The young Prince Yin Jiufeng said with a gloomy face. Young Prince Imoing, that bitch won't live for long anyway. But that Lu Ming, I didn't expect his cultivation to be so high. How should we deal with him? Imo Bing asked. It doesn't matter. I'll send a message to my father and ask him to send a master over. At that time I'll make him beg for death. Yin Jiufeng gritted his teeth and said gloomily. In the next few days, Lu Ming continued to deprive Mo Ying of her yang qi. 3 days later, the yang qi in Mo Ying's body had been completely expelled. Mo Ying was relieved. Her qi became very active. Every day her face glowed and became more beautiful. The Mo family martial arts field was the place where the Mo family disciples cultivated. As soon as Mo Ying's yang qi was expelled, she took Lu Ming to the Mo family martial arts field. In the middle of the Mo family martial arts field, there was a huge stone pillar. The stone pillar was crystal clear like jade. At first glance, one could tell that it was not ordinary. Brother Lu, this stone pillar can test my compatibility with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. The higher the compatibility, the more I can get the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. In the past, when my yang qi was not expelled, I was the one with the highest compatibility with the ancestral inheritance among the younger generation of the Mo family. Now that the yang qi is expelled, I want to see how compatible I am with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo Ying obviously trusted Lu Ming and had no reservations about Lu Ming. The Mo family's ancestral inheritance? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but look into the depths of the Mo family. That place was the place where the 9 dragons' bloodline cheered. He didn't know if it had anything to do with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo Ying came to the stone pillar and immediately attracted the attention of some of the Mo family members nearby. Is Mo Ying going to test her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance again? She's already the highest among the younger generation. The ancestral inheritance belongs to her. What's the point of testing? Yes, her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance is as high as 5 stars. Moreover, the compatibility is innate. It won't increase over time. I really don't understand why she's here to test again. Around them, some of the Mo family members were discussing. Mo Ying ignored them. She placed her palm on the stone pillar and there was a flash of blood on her spine. Buzz. Chapter 326. Everyone from the Mo family was stunned. Their faces were filled with disbelief. After a while, there was a heated discussion. 6 stars. Mo Ying's compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has reached 6 stars. How is that possible? She used to have 5 stars. Unbelievable. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy can be improved? I've never heard of such a thing. Even the ancient books have never recorded such a thing. Unbelievable. I'm so envious. Some of the young people from the Mo family were already incoherent. A white-haired old man walked out from a loft beside the martial arts arena. The old man was overjoyed when he saw Mo Ying condensing 6 stars on the stone pillar. He muttered, 6 stars, that's great. I've tried so many times and this is the most compatible one. This time it will definitely succeed. Great things can be expected. When the time comes, the Mo family status will definitely rise by a lot. In the martial arts practice field, Lu Ming saw the stone pillar shining and a look of surprise flashed across his eyes. When the stone pillar shone, he felt the 9 dragons' bloodline in his body stirring. It was very strange. At that moment, Mo Ying retracted her palm and looked delighted. True Qi has become purer. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has increased. Mo Ying said happily. Lu Ming looked at the stone pillar and suddenly lifted his leg and walked toward it. What is Brother Lu doing? Mo Ying was stunned. Then she saw Lu Ming reaching out his palm and placing it on the stone pillar. Is Brother Lu trying to test it? But this is the testing stone pillar of the Mo family. What's the use of him testing it? Mo Ying thought to herself. The other members of the Mo family were even more shocked. Who is this kid? What is he trying to do? This is the stone pillar used by the Mo family to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy. What is he doing? Is this kid trying to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy too? What a joke. He's an outsider. Brat, stop right now. The members of the Mo family at the side started to speak. Some of them even sneered. But in the next moment, buzz! The testing stone pillar shook violently and emitted a bright light. The light was more dazzling than the one caused by Mo Ying just now. Then the light condensed into stars in the air. 1, 2, 8 stars. In the end, a total of 8 stars were formed. The eyes of all the Mo family members almost popped out of their sockets. Their bulging eyes were filled with disbelief. Each and every one of them trembled as they pointed at Lu Ming, unable to say a single word for a long time. Mo Ying's reaction was similar. Her small cherry lips opened so wide that one could swallow a duck egg. Her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. 8 stars, 8 stars. This brat actually has 8 stars of compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. How is this possible? How is this possible? I'm dreaming, I must be dreaming. A crisp sound of a slap was heard. Why did you hit me? I was checking to see if you were dreaming. Turns out you weren't. Nest, an outsider actually has an 8-star compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. This is truly blinding. The surrounding MO family members had already lost their minds. This, heavens will bless our MO family. Ah. In the pavilion, the white-haired old man was so excited that his body was trembling. His eyes were filled with ecstasy. I must inform the family head about this immediately. The white-haired old man whispered and then turned to leave. As expected. In the martial arts field, Lu Ming retracted his palm and fell into deep thought. Previously, he had discovered that this so-called test of compatibility with the MO family's ancestors' inheritance was actually related to the dragon's bloodline. Lu Ming guessed that the MO family's ancestor also had the bloodline of the cloud dragon or flood dragon. That was why Moing had such a high compatibility. Lu Ming had the 9-dragon bloodline and could be said to be the ancestor of all dragons. Naturally, his compatibility was high. He had reached 8 stars. Unfortunately, Brother Lu is an outsider. Moing sighed in her heart. Moing, let's go. Lu Ming smiled. Moing nodded and returned to the courtyard with Lu Ming. At this time, in a secret room of the Mo family, there was an urgent discussion. 2 days later, a middle-aged man came to Mo Ying's courtyard. Greetings, family head. Mo Ying and the rest quickly bowed. This middle-aged man turned out to be the family head of the Mo family. Little Ying, tomorrow, you will inherit the ancestors' inheritance. The family head of the Mo family did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Tomorrow? So soon? Mo Ying was stunned. Obviously, it was a little unexpected. A long delay may cause trouble. The sooner you inherit the ancestors' inheritance, the sooner you can carry it forward, then I can rest assured. The family head of the Mo family smiled and said very kindly, "Thank you, family head." Mo Ying bowed emotionally. She was originally only a side-branch disciple of the Mo family. It was already extremely rare for her to be able to reach this step. Furthermore, she was going to inherit the inheritance of the ancestor tomorrow. In the Mo family, this was an unparalleled honor. At this moment, she was deeply grateful to the Mo family's patriarch. There's no need to be so courteous. The family head of the Mo family laughed heartily, then looked at Lu Ming and said with a smile, "I guess this must be young hero Lu Ming." "That's me." "Greetings, family head of the Mo family." Lu Ming held his fists together and said, Young hero Lu, there's no need to be so courteous. 2 days ago you resonated with the testing pillar of the 8 stars. This news has spread to the entire Mo family. A miracle indeed. The family head of the Mo family exclaimed, then changed his tone and said, "Here, I have something that I need your help with." "You need my help? May I know what it is?" Lu Ming was curious. "I would like to invite young hero Lu to go with Mo Ying to the place of the ancestors' inheritance and help her obtain the inheritance." The family head of the Mo family said. "Me?" This time not only Lu Ming but even Mo Ying was surprised. That's right. To be honest, inheriting the ancestors' inheritance is not a smooth journey. There might be some twists and turns along the way. Young hero Lu's compatibility with the Mo family's ancestors' inheritance is as high as 8 stars. With you following and helping Mo Ying, there will be no mistakes. I hope young hero Lu can agree. The family head of the Mo family held his fists together and said, "You're being too courteous. Since I can help Mo Ying, I will not refuse." Lu Ming said, "That's good too." Lu Ming also wanted to see what it was that caused the 9 dragons bloodline to cheer. Seeing that Lu Ming agreed, the family head of the Mo family was overjoyed. After chatting with the two for a while, he stood up and left. "Brother Lu, I'll have to trouble you again." Mo Ying bowed slightly, her eyes were clear like water. A day's time passed very quickly. On the second day, the family head of the Mo family sent someone to pick up Mo Ying and Lu Ming. Chapter 327. It is indeed deep within the Mo family. Lu Ming was surprised. The Mo clan's residence was filled with layers upon layers of buildings. It was unknown how many palaces there were. The two of them walked around for half an hour before they arrived at a dilapidated stone house. In front of the stone house, the Mo family head and a few white-haired elders had arrived. Ha, I'm owing young hero Lu, you are here. Under this stone house is the inheritance of our ancestors. When the door is open you can go in. The Imo family head smiled. Lu Ming and Imoing nodded. Let's begin. The Imo family head nodded to the elders. The figures of several old men moved and scattered around the stone house. Their hands shot out rays of light that disappeared into the stone house. The stone house began to tremble slightly and emitted rays of light. The stone house was covered with inscriptions. The inscriptions shone brightly. As the elders shouted, a stone door in front of the stone house opened abruptly. The moment the stone house opened, Lu Ming seemed to see a sea of blood surging towards him. At this moment, the 9 dragons' bloodline seemed to be so excited that it was about to roar into the sky. This place is not simple. Lu Ming frowned slightly. Imoing did not seem to feel anything unusual. She looked at the stone house with anticipation. Alright, Imoing, young hero Lu, the stone door is open. You can go in. The Imo family head said. Thank you, family head and elders. Imoing thanked the Imo family head and elders sincerely. Then she got up and walked towards the stone house. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He followed Imoing and walked in. When the two of them walked in, the stone door of the stone house closed automatically. Haha, this is a success. This time the Imo family will make a great contribution. When the stone door closed, the Imo family head laughed excitedly. However, there was no kindness on his face. Instead, it looked a little ferocious. In the stone house. After the stone door closed, the stone house was not dark. The walls of the stone house were inlaid with luminous stones. There was a large hole in the floor of the stone house. A stone staircase led down from the hole. Previously, the patriarch of the Mo clan had mentioned that the succession of the Mo clan's ancestor was located deep underground. The two of them did not hesitate and walked down the stairs. The staircase was very long and it led downwards at an angle. After walking for about a kilometer, he saw a stone door. There were inscriptions flowing on the stone door, and it was overflowing with light. In the middle of the stone door there was a pit. Imoing took out a jade token and shone it at the pit. Gotcha. Immediately the stone door creaked and opened automatically. Behind the stone door, there was another stone staircase that led downwards. The slope of the stone staircase was getting steeper and steeper until it was almost vertical. After walking for a while, she saw another stone door. Imoing drew a gourd and opened it with a jade token. This time, behind the stone door was a passageway. On both sides of the passageway were stone rooms. Lu Ming frowned slightly because he could feel a chilling aura from these stone chambers. Why is this place so eerie? Obviously, Imoing felt it too and she frowned slightly. Perhaps it's because no one has been here for too many years, Lu Ming said. Imoing nodded and did not say much. The two of them continued to move forward. After walking for a while, the stone chambers disappeared and the passageway continued to move forward. After walking for another kilometer, they reached the end of the passageway, and a huge underground cave appeared in front of them. In the cave, the chilling aura was even more intense. In the middle of the cave there was a huge pool. When they saw the pool, the two of them were shocked. This pool was not filled with water at all, but with bright red blood. Yes, the entire pool was filled with blood, and the smell of blood filled the entire underground cave. What is this? Is this the inheritance of our ancestor? Imoing said in shock and disbelief. Swoosh. At this moment, the blood in the pool surged violently. Then, the blood rushed into the air and condensed into 2 blood-red dragons that pounced on Lu Ming and Imoing. The 2 blood-red dragons roared, and the smell of blood filled their nostrils. The dragons' claws were as sharp as knives and they clawed at the two of them. Not good. Lu Ming's face changed. The demon-banishing spear appeared and stabbed out. Swoosh, swoosh. 2 spear radiance burst out and shattered the 2 blood-red dragons. However, the pool surged again and the blood in the pool condensed into blood-red dragons. This time there were 8 of them. 8 blood-red dragons pounced on the 2 of them. How could this be? At this moment, Imoing finally reacted. She waved her hands to resist the blood-red dragons. Lu Ming's long spear shook and thrust out, destroying the blood-red dragons one by one. However, the blood-red dragons were not destroyed. They gathered together in the air and reformed into a blood-red dragon. At the same time, blood-red dragons continued to form in the pool and pounced on Lu Ming and Imoing. There was no end to them. Soon, Imoing was scratched by a blood-red dragon's claw, and a deep wound appeared. Boom. Lu Ming's aura exploded violently. He swept out his long spear and dozens of blood-red dragons exploded in the air. However, it was useless. After a while they would reform. Since I can't kill them, I'll destroy this pool. Lu Ming strode forward, intending to blast the pool that was filled with blood. Clang, clang. At this moment, the sound of metal clashing could be heard from the pool. It sounded like iron chains colliding with each other. Clang, clang, clang. The clashing sounds became louder. The blood in the pool surged even more violently, creating a loud sound like a stormy sea. Brr, brr. The Crimson Dragons uttered a series of roars and stopped attacking Lu Ming and Mo Ying. They flew back into the blood pond. Boom. Suddenly there was a violent roar from the pool. The entire underground cave shook violently. It was as if there was an ancient giant beast in the pool that was about to break free. I'm not resigned to this. Suddenly there was a loud roar from the pool. Lu Ming and Mo Ying's faces changed drastically. There was someone in the pool. I'm not resigned to this. The Yingyue imperial family is despicable and shameless. The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They framed me. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. A loud roar came from the pool. It was filled with pain and unwillingness as well as monstrous hatred. Clang, clang. The clashing sounds of the iron chains became louder. The next moment, the pool suddenly surged violently and formed a human figure. The human figure was dozens of meters tall and huge. It looked like a burly old man. He roared to the sky, trying to break free from the shackles. However, he was surrounded by endless blood. Roar. Chapter 328. I can't accept this. The elder roared and struggled with all his might. Blood filled the air and the underground cave kept shaking. Lu Ming and Mo Ying looked at the scene in shock. The 9 dragons' bloodline's abnormal movement came from this pool of blood. Looking at the situation, it should be the blood of a flood dragon and even the soul of a flood dragon. Lu Ming's mind was racing. But what's up with that elder? Lu Ming could not figure it out, but one thing was for sure. This was not the ancestral inheritance that the Mo family had mentioned. Looking at Mo Ying's expression, it was obvious that she did not know either. He and Mo Ying had been deceived. The huge elder struggled more and more violently, as if he could break free at any time. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, 2 old men with almost all their hair and faces full of wrinkles suddenly appeared on both sides of the cave. As soon as the 2 old men appeared, rays of dazzling light flew out from their hands. The light flew into the surrounding walls of the cave and inscriptions appeared on the walls. Countless inscriptions intertwined and formed an inscription formation. They condensed into strips of light and flew into the pool of blood. Suddenly, inscriptions appeared on the surface of the blood in the pool of blood and the huge flood dragon condensed by the blood. This greatly increased the power of the bloodwater flood dragon, and it immediately suppressed the huge old man's figure. Ah! Despicable Mo family, I can't accept this. The huge elder let out an indignant roar. Suppress. The 2 old men from the Mo family shouted softly and their bodies shone. They controlled the inscription formation to suppress the huge elder. Rumble. Although the huge elder struggled with all his might, it was useless and his movements were getting smaller and smaller. Start condensing. One of the old men from the Mo family shouted softly and the other nodded. The 2 of them moved their palms and dozens of flood dragons flew out of the pool of blood. They roared and pounced on Lu Ming and Mo Ying. What was different from before was that each of these bloodwater dragons had inscriptions flowing on their bodies. Clearly they were more powerful. Elders, what are you doing? I'm a disciple of the Mo family. Mo Ying was shocked. However, the flood dragons did not stop and Mo Ying could only fight back. Bang. However, with just one move Mo Ying was sent flying. Then a bloodwater dragon coiled around Mo Ying, trying to drag her into the bloodwater pool. Elders, what are you doing? I'm Mo Ying, a disciple of the Mo clan. I'm here to receive the inheritance of my ancestor. Let me go. Mo Ying screamed in horror. Kill? Lu Ming shouted as he swept out with his long spear, causing the blood flood dragons to explode. Then he grabbed the blood flood dragon on Mo Ying's body and squeezed it hard, causing it to explode. On both sides of the cave, the faces of the 2 Mo family elders changed. Their gazes towards Lu Ming were filled with killing intent. Blood refining array kill. The 2 elders of the Mo family shouted loudly. The light of the inscription formation in the cave became even brighter. All of a sudden hundreds of bloody flood dragons flew out and pounced on Lu Ming. Of course, these bloody flood dragons were only a few meters long and could not be compared to the huge flood dragon that was entangling the huge old man. Haha, little girl of the Mo family, don't expect to get out of here alive. What inheritance of your ancestor? They just want to use you to refine the Inua demonic leader. At this moment, the old man's laughter came from the blood water pool. Rumble. That sentence was like a clap of thunder that exploded in Mo Ying's heart. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she screamed, "Use me to refine the Inua demonic leader? No, this is not true. I don't believe it." You don't believe it? The truth is right in front of you. Little girl, accept your fate. You have been deceived by a group of hypocrites. The old man in the blood water pool said. No, this is impossible. Elders, is this true? Mo Ying looked at the two elders of the Mo family. As a disciple of the Mo family, it is your honor to be able to sacrifice for the Mo family. Why don't you surrender now? The two elders of the Mo family said. Their faces were extremely cold and emotionless. Mo Ying staggered back as if she had been struck by lightning. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They want to refine the blood and soul of a dragon into my body through the two of you. They want to refine me into a soulless, obedient puppet that only knows how to kill. No way, I will not surrender. The old man in the blood water pool roared. It's useless even if you don't surrender. This time, not only do we have a little girl with the cloud dragon bloodline, but we also have a kid who is more compatible with the dragon. With the two of them, we can definitely refine the Inua demonic leader. This is God's blessing for the Mo family. Yan Quan, this is your fate. Why don't you surrender now? One of the elders of the Mo family roared. Fuck your head. The old man roared. Mo Ying's body trembled and her eyes were lifeless. It was as if her soul had been sucked away. It was fake. Everything in the past was fake. What genius of the Mo family? What key grooming? What ancestors' inheritance? It was all fake. The purpose of everything was to refine the Inua demonic leader. The reason was because of the cloud dragon bloodline in her body. No wonder the head of the Mo family invited Lu Ming in. He said that he would help her, but it was all nonsense. It was nothing more than that he had taken a fancy to Lu Ming's bloodline. Everything made sense. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming kept waving his long spear and blocking the bloodwater dragons. Mo Ying, cheer up. We don't need such a family. At most we'll rebel. Lu Ming shouted. Mo Ying's body shook and then she recovered a little. She gritted her teeth and said loudly, I'm the master of my own fate. I won't listen to other people's arrangements. Rebellious and stubborn. Become a part of the glory of the Mo family. Kill. The two elders of the Mo family roared and controlled the inscription formation. More bloodwater dragons flew out and pounced on the two. A bunch of hypocrites. Kill. Lu Ming shouted. Boom. His aura erupted like a volcano as a huge stone tablet appeared. 4 silver chakras were shining brightly on it. Lu Ming burst out with all his strength. Boom. The power of wind and fire gathered. With a sweep of his long spear, a large number of bloodwater dragons exploded. Level 4 King class bloodline. Who is this guy? An elder of the Mo family roared in shock. As far as he knew, there was no genius with level 4 King class bloodline in the entire Moon Empire. Where did Lu Ming come from? Could he be a peerless genius from a medium-sized empire? No matter who he is, there's no way out today. Let's kill this guy first. The other elder of the Mo family roared. Okay, let's do it. The two elders of the Mo family pinched their hands. The huge bloodwater dragon that was entangling the elder let go of him and pounced on Lu Ming with a roar. Its aura was so strong that it shook heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that it was much stronger than an ordinary martial artist at the 9th level of the martial arts Grandmaster realm. It was unstoppable. Lu Ming's pupils shrank. He was about to retreat, but suddenly he stopped. Buzz. Chapter 329. The 9 Dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. Although the 9 Dragons' bloodline was only a dozen meters long, it looked very small in front of the bloody flood dragon. However, as the bloodline of the 9 dragons roared, the bloody flood dragon suddenly stopped in the air. It looked at the bloodline of the 9 dragons with fear in its eyes. The giant serpent's body began to tremble violently. It let out a roar and turned around to flee. However, it was too late. The 9 dragons' bloodline roared and a strong devouring power burst out of its mouth. At the same time, the 9 dragons' bloodline twisted its body like a flash of lightning. It instantly reached the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and shrouded it with a strong devouring power. The bloody flood dragon was terrified. It kept roaring and its huge body kept twisting. However, the 9 dragons' bloodline steadily stopped at the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and kept bursting out its devouring power. The blood flood dragon roared as a flood dragon's soul was extracted from the body of the flood dragon that was condensed from blood. The first thing that appeared was the head of the flood dragon soul. It kept roaring and wanted to shrink back, but it was useless under the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline. It was being extracted bit by bit. What's going on? What the hell is going on? An elder of the Mo family shouted in disbelief. Kill him. Kill him. The 2 elders of the Mo family gnashed their teeth and desperately urged the inscription formation to get rid of the 9 dragons' bloodline and kill Lu Ming. Unfortunately, the huge bloody flood dragon was like a mouse meeting a cat when it encountered the 9 dragons' bloodline. It did not dare to resist at all. The flood dragon's soul was constantly being extracted. Soon, more than half of the flood dragon's soul had been extracted. Boy, what are you doing? Why don't you stop? Stop right now. You're destroying the Mo family's 1,000-year plan. Do you know that? Stop right now. The 2 elders of the Mo family shouted hysterically. Ah, you 2 old dogs. You've lived for so long. Have you been living like dogs? Stop. And then use my life to complete the Mo family's 1,000-year plan? Have you fucking lost your IQ? And what's the Mo family's 1,000-year plan? What does it have to do with me? In my eyes, it's all trash. Lu Ming let out a long howl. The words of the 2 Mo family elders were simply too ridiculous. You are courting death. The 2 Mo family elders' shriveled faces flushed red, as if they were about to bleed from anger. They were the Mo clan's grand elders and were usually high and mighty. When had anyone dared to scold them like this? I'll kill this brat first. An elder of the Mo family roared. He temporarily stopped controlling the inscription formation and was about to attack Lu Ming. However, as soon as he stopped controlling the inscription formation, the old man in the pool of blood went berserk, and the underground cave began to shake. Damn it. The elder of the Mo family was unwilling, but he could only fly back to continue controlling the inscription array. At this moment, the 9 dragons' bloodline let out an earth-shattering roar. Its devouring power suddenly increased, and the blood flood dragon's soul was pulled out. The flood dragon soul roared again and again. Terrified, it struggled with all its might. No. Stop. The 2 elders of the Mo family roared. However, the 9 dragons' bloodline opened its mouth and sucked the flood dragon's soul into its mouth, disappearing without a trace. The 9 dragons' bloodline revealed a satisfied expression and flew back into Lu Ming's body. Ah, damn it, let go of the flood dragon soul quickly. The 2 elders of the Mo family screamed crazily like ghosts. Let go? You think too much. Lu Ming sneered. Boom. At this moment, the underground cave began to shake violently. The pool of blood in the pool of blood surged violently. Clang! The sound of iron chains colliding violently rang out. Not good, quickly suppress old monster Yan Quan. The 2 elders of the Mo family screamed in horror and desperately controlled the inscription formation to suppress the old man in the pool of blood. But, bang! In the next moment there was an explosion. A figure soared into the sky from the pool of blood. It was an old man in his 60s. His face was covered with a long beard, and his body was extremely burly. He seemed to be more than 2 meters tall. The figure that was dozens of meters tall was not his real body, but a human figure condensed by true qi. Several iron chains as thick as an arm wrapped around the burly old man's body and extended out from the pool of blood. When the burly old man moved, the iron chains clanged. Not good, Yan Quan is about to break free. The 2 elders of the Mo family screamed in horror. Aha, the heavens are helping me. Mo family, today I, Yan Quan, swear that I will destroy your Mo family. The burly old man laughed maniacally. Kill him quick. The 2 elders of the Mo family roared and gave up on controlling the inscription formation. A battle sword appeared in their hands and they slashed at Yan Quan. The sword chi whistled and was extremely shocking. Peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The 2 elders of the Mo family were terrifyingly strong. They were both at the peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. A mere 8th martial ancestor realm wants to kill me? You overestimate yourself. Yan Quan laughed and waved his palms. 2 terrifying palms struck out towards the 2 elders of the Mo family. Bang! Bang! With 2 explosions, the 2 elders of the Mo family screamed and their bodies flew out like cannonballs. They crashed heavily into the walls of the cave and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Clang! Yan Quan waved his palms and caused the iron chains to collide. A total of 4 iron chains bound him. He was too strong. Even when he was bound by the iron chains, he was still able to injure the two elders of the 8th martial ancestor realm. His strength was terrifying. You want to bind me with a few pieces of scrap metal? Break. Yen Quan shouted, and a terrifying true chi burst out from his body as he pulled with all his might. Rumble. The entire cave shook violently and the ground trembled, producing deep rumbling sounds. Not good. Yen Quan is about to break free. Run. The two elders of the Mo family were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They turned around and ran towards the exit. Break. Yen Quan suddenly shouted loudly. He grabbed one of the iron chains and suddenly pulled it. Clang. The iron chain that was as thick as an arm broke into two. This was not an ordinary iron chain but a rare black iron with inscriptions carved on it. However, it still broke with a single pull. You want to leave? Go and die. Yen Quan shouted. With a swing of his arm, a broken chain flew out and shot towards the two Mo family elders. Its speed was as fast as lightning, and it instantly caught up to the two Mo family elders. Block. The two elders of the Mo family roared and each used their strongest move. However, the difference was too big. Bang. Bang. Two rumbling sounds could be heard and the two elders' attacks were destroyed. A section of the iron chain crashed into their bodies. Kacha. The sound of bones breaking could be heard. The two elders of the Mo family screamed and flew out. They fell heavily on the ground and were no longer breathing. At this moment, the entire Mo family was in chaos. Just a moment ago, when Yen Quan broke the iron chain, the entire ground of the Mo family shook violently as though there was an earthquake. What is going on? Many disciples of the Mo family panicked. The patriarch of the Mo family and a few elders were guarding the stone house. Other than them, there were a few more people. One of them was the young prince Yin Jiufeng. Beside Yin Jiufeng, there were a few elders with powerful auras. At this moment, the patriarch of the Mo family's face changed drastically. Not good. There is a problem underground. Chapter 330. Quick, gather the clan's experts and get ready. The Mo family patriarch roared, his voice echoing throughout the Mo family. Whoosh. Whoosh. One figure after another flew toward the Mo clan from every corner. They were all martial ancestor realm experts. As one of the top 10 families of the Yin Moon Empire, the Mo family strength was not to be underestimated. Apart from the martial ancestor realm experts, there were also some martial grandmasters gathering. In an instant, the front of the stone house was filled with figures. In the underground cave, break! Yen Quan roared, his genuine chi bursting forth like an ancient giant beast struggling. Clang, clang, clang. 3 crisp sounds were heard as the remaining 3 chains were broken by Yen Quan. Aha, after being trapped for more than 10 years, I'm finally free. Mo family, accept my revenge. Yen Quan laughed maniacally, his face revealing a sinister expression. After a while, he turned his gaze towards Lu Ming and Mo Ying. Swoosh. His figure moved and instantly appeared a few meters in front of Lu Ming and Mo Ying. Mo Ying cried out in fright and involuntarily took 3 steps back. Lu Ming did not move, but his pupils constricted. He held his spear in front of him, ready to fight. Ah, little girl, what are you afraid of? You saved me, why would I make things difficult for you? Yen Quan grinned at Mo Ying. Following which, he looked at Lu Ming and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Little brother, it's all thanks to you that I was able to escape this time. This is a huge favor and I have to repay it. However, now is not the time to talk about this. Let me exterminate the Mo family first before we talk about this. After speaking, Yen Quan laughed and strode towards the exit. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he said, let's go out too. He and Mo Ying followed closely behind the old man and walked out. When he passed by the corpses of the 2 elders of the Mo family, Lu Ming silently devoured the blood essence of the 2 elders. The 3 of them walked forward. Soon they walked out of the underground cave and returned to the stone house. Boom. Yen Quan struck out with his palm, and the stone door of the stone house exploded. Shattered rocks flew everywhere, and a series of exclamations came from outside. Looks like they're all waiting outside. Great, I don't need to look for them. Yen Quan grinned, his eyes filled with killing intent as he strode out. Lu Ming and Mo Ying followed. As soon as he walked out of the stone house, Lu Ming's expression changed. Outside there were hundreds of people densely packed together. All of them had strong auras. They were all experts. The weakest among them was a martial grand master. Yen Quan. Seeing the 3 of them, the Mo family's patriarch and several elders' faces changed drastically, and they cried out involuntarily. Set up the formation quickly. An elder screamed. Whoosh, whoosh. Their figures flashed wildly as at least a few dozen martial arts grandmasters flashed and formed a battle formation. At the front of the battle formation was the Mo family head and a few elders. Moing, how audacious of you. How dare you release the devil suppressed by the clan? This is unforgivable. The head of the Mo family shouted. Mo Ying's delicate body trembled. They were the ones who deceived Mo Ying and wanted to use her life to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. However, as soon as they came out, the head of the Mo family pinned the crime of releasing the devil suppressed by the Mo family on Mo Ying. How shameless. Patriarch, you lied to me. There is no ancestors' inheritance below. You want my life, Mo Ying said in a trembling voice. Shut up, little bitch. You're wrong. How dare you talk back? Kneel down and accept your death. The head of the Mo family shouted, not allowing Mo Ying to talk back. He was no longer as amiable as before. Mo Ying's face was pale, and her delicate body trembled non-stop. She bit her lips so hard that they bled, but she did not realize it. Originally, she still had a glimmer of hope for the Mo family, but now she was in despair. Ah, old man, you lied to your own disciple, saying that you're inheriting the ancestors' inheritance. In fact, you just want the life of a junior to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. Even now, you're still so dignified. Are you a fucking dog? Don't you have any shame? Lu Ming laughed and pointed at the head of the Mo family. Little bastard, what did you say? How dare you talk to me like that? The head of the Mo family roared, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. What the fuck are you? Do I have to give you face when I speak? Don't flatter yourself. Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked at the head of the Mo family with contempt, as if he was really looking at a pile of dog shit. This kind of gaze almost made the head of the Mo family vomit blood. He was so angry that his body trembled non-stop. Haha, little brother, you've scolded well. The whole Mo family is a pile of dog shit, haha. Yen Quan laughed. Damn it, Lu Ming, you actually destroyed the refining of the Dark Moon demonic leader and ruined the plan of the Yinhua royal family. Even if you die 10,000 times, you can't make up for it. At this time, a scream filled with resentment sounded. It was Yin Jiufeng. Oh, isn't this the little prince? Why aren't you going home to drink milk? Do you want to be beaten again? Lu Ming curled his lips and said. This sentence almost caused Yin Jiufeng to suffer internal injuries. Lu Ming, if I don't kill you today, I swear I'm not a human. Yin Jiufeng shouted furiously. If I remember correctly, you also shouted like that last time. What? Are you still a human? Lu Ming sneered. You kill him for me? Yin Jiufeng's face turned pale and he almost exploded with anger. Kill. Behind Yin Jiufeng, two old men shouted and were about to pounce on Lu Ming. Who can you kill? Yen Quan shouted coldly and threw out a punch. Bang, bang. The two old men exploded and Yin Jiufeng screamed in fear. Under the protection of the remaining two old men, he retreated. Let's attack together and suppress old demon Yen Quan. The head of the Mo family roared. Suppress old demon Yen Quan. Everyone from the Mo family shouted. More than 30 martial ancestor realm experts formed a large array and charged towards Yen Quan. Good timing. Today I'll settle the score with the Mo family. Yen Quan shouted and charged towards the Mo family. Kill. Yen Quan shouted and his aura was shocking. He was like a demon god. He threw out a punch and a dazzling fist force charged towards the Mo family. Lu Ming could feel that Yen Quan's aura was no weaker than the sect leaders of the 5 major sects in the Burning Sun Empire. He was at the limit of a martial ancestor and was known as a half-king. 100 sword array kill. The Mo family did not dare to be careless. More than 30 of them joined forces and their auras merged to form a huge sword that was a few hundred meters tall and slashed towards Yen Quan. Boom. The huge sword and the fist radiance collided and there was a loud explosion. The entire Mo family shook violently and some of the buildings nearby were blown into pieces by the shockwave. They were evenly matched in this exchange. Kill. Immediately, Yen Quan and the Mo family started fighting again. Kill this little bastard for me right now. Yin Jiufeng shouted. Just. Behind Yin Jiufeng, the remaining two old men charged towards Lu Ming and they exuded a powerful aura. 8th Martial Ancestor Realm. Chapter 331. Now let's see who can save you. Yin Jiufeng looked ferocious. However, there was a smile on Lu Ming's face. He stood there motionless. At this moment, there was a loud roar in the sky. A tall and burly figure fell from the sky and landed heavily between Lu Ming and the two elders, creating a large hole in the ground. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This tall figure was actually the golden-eyed blood zombie. I finally arrived. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Just now, when he came out of the stone house, he noticed the abnormality of the demon suppression token and found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was in the vicinity of Su Tianqing, probably looking for him. He was not surprised that the golden-eyed blood zombie could escape from the assassins of the Yin Moon Empire. The golden-eyed blood zombie had reached the early 9th level of the martial ancestor realm and its body was like a diamond. If it wanted to escape, even a half-step king realm expert might not be able to kill it. When Lu Ming found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was nearby, he immediately used the demon suppression token to summon the golden-eyed blood zombie. He also deliberately chatted with Yin Jiufeng to delay time until the golden-eyed blood zombie finally arrived. Golden-eyed, kill them. Lu Ming ordered. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced. In just one move, the two elders of the 8th level of the martial ancestor realm that Yin Jiufeng brought flew back screaming. There was a claw wound on each of their bodies. Where the claw had clawed, the flesh and blood had disappeared, revealing the white bones. It was extremely horrifying. This scene was too sudden and Yin Jiufeng was stunned. Mo Ying, who was beside Lu Ming, was also stunned. She found that she could not see through Lu Ming at all. Since the first time she saw Lu Ming had brought her a series of surprises since Lu Ming said that she was divided into yin and yang. In her opinion, Lu Ming was a mystery, an unfathomable mystery. Now, there were experts of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm that obeyed him. Monster, go take the young master away. An elder roared. He wanted to rush over and take Yin Jiufeng away, but it was too late. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared angrily and rushed out. He waved his claws and the claw light slashed out like a few heavenly blades. Wuxia. In just a few moves, the two old men were torn in half by the golden-eyed blood zombie. Ah! Yin Jiufeng screamed in fright. His face was as white as paper, his body trembling. The 4 experts that his father had sent to help him had been killed just like that, leaving him all alone. It's your turn now. Lu Ming smiled at Yin Jiufeng. But Lu Ming's smile in Yin Jiufeng's eyes was more terrifying than the devil. Patriarch Mo, save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng screamed in a hoarse voice. But the Mo family head didn't even look at him. What a joke. Save him? Right now the Mo family was locked in battle with Yan Quan. They couldn't even take care of themselves, so how could they have the time to save him? It seems that no one will come to save you. Lu Ming smiled again, walking step by step towards Yin Jiufeng. No, Lu Ming, don't kill me. My father is the Jianghu king, he has a lot of troops. If you kill me you will also die and Yin Jiufeng screamed. And what? Last time I let you go because of the Mo family. This time you want to use the Mo family to threaten me? And you have tried to kill me many times, how can I let you go? Lu Ming's face finally turned cold. No. Yin Jiufeng screamed and turned to run. But Lu Ming flicked his finger and a spear light shot out, piercing through Yin Jiufeng's back. Yin Jiufeng screamed, lying on the ground, screaming again and again, but he was not dead yet. Lu Ming walked over and squatted down to look at Yin Jiufeng. Save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng struggled, blood flowing out of his mouth. Save you? I will tell you another secret, then you will not ask me to save you. I have another name, Tianyun. Lu Ming smiled faintly, whispering in Yin Jiufeng's ear. What? Yin Jiufeng's pupils suddenly widened, revealing a look of despair. He growled, Champion? Champion. Before he could say the word Marquis, he had already died. The Burning Sun Empire's champion Marquis Tianyun, there was no one in the Yin Moon Empire who did not know him. He had killed several powerful legions of the Yin Moon Empire. His name was known throughout the Yin Moon Empire. When Yin Jiufeng heard that it was Tianyun, in despair he breathed his last. All around, the great martial masters of the Mo family looked at Lu Ming in horror, not daring to attack. Boom, boom. Between heaven and earth, there was only the sound of Yan Quan and the Mo family's battle echoing. The battle between Yan Quan and the Mo family was still going on, and it was hard to tell who would win. It had to be said that the 100-sword battle formation set up by the Mo family was indeed powerful. With the combination of more than 30 martial ancestor realm experts and the Mo family's master's cultivation of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm, they were actually able to fight Yan Quan to a draw. At this moment, the golden-eye blood zombie growled beside Lu Ming, his eyes constantly looking in the direction of the stone house. You want to absorb the blood? Lu Ming understood what the golden-eye blood zombie meant. The golden-eye blood zombie was very eager for the dragon blood in the underground cave. Go. Lu Ming whispered. Swish. Receiving Lu Ming's order, the golden eye blood zombie rushed into the underground cave with a swish. On the other hand, Lu Ming stood still and watched the battle while refining the blood essence. Lu Ming's body had devoured the essence blood of several 8th-level martial ancestor realm experts. It was too thick. The essence blood was constantly converted into energy and refined into genuine qi. Lu Ming began to attack the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm. Rumble. Soon a dull sound came from Lu Ming's body. He had broken through to the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm. Just as Lu Ming broke through to the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm, the 9 dragons' bloodline suddenly roared and rushed out of Lu Ming's body, roaring to the sky. At the same time, the 9 dragons' bloodline's body shape rapidly changed. It was originally a python that was more than 10 meters long. Now it was rapidly growing longer and thicker. The scales on its body became more crystal clear. Then 4 claws grew out of the python's abdomen just like dragon claws. 2 horns grew out of the top of its head. A dragon. This was the shape of a dragon. The 9 dragons' bloodline had evolved. After the 9 dragons' bloodline had devoured a shocking amount of essence blood and the dragon's soul, it had finally begun to evolve. From the python form, it had evolved into the dragon form. The dragon form of the 9 dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. The dragon's roar reverberated and a bright silver chakra appeared on its body. Level 1 King class bloodline. Around them, the martial grand masters and Mo-ing of the Mo clan were all dumbfounded. Even the Mo family's martial grandmasters and Yen Quan, who were in the midst of the battle, looked at Lu Ming in shock. The bloodline could evolve? From the mortal class to the king class? This was too shocking. It was simply unheard of. There were no records of this in the ancient books. This young man is too extraordinary. Chapter 332. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. The evolution of the 9 dragons' bloodline was too sudden. He could not control it at all. If it was possible, he would not have chosen to evolve his bloodline at this moment. All of you retreat quickly. Send this news to the south protecting king and the royal family. This person is a demon. He must be killed. The head of the Mo clan roared at the martial grandmaster realm warriors. A bloodline evolving, this was simply unheard of. It was too shocking. Since such a person was already an enemy, he could not be allowed to live. This was the Mo clan head's thought. Let's go. There were over 100 martial grandmasters rushing in all directions at this moment. Since that is the case, all of you will stay here. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes emitting a terrifying killing intent. The 9 dragons' bloodline must not be exposed. Although this place was very far away from the headquarters of the heavenly deity palace, it was better to be safe than sorry. If the characteristics of the 9 dragons' bloodline were to reach martial monarch De, it would be a great disaster for him. These people had to die. Lu Ming soared into the sky. Behind him, the 9 dragons' bloodline appeared. A wriggling dragon that was 100 meters long was suspended above Lu Ming's head. Roar! The 9 dragons' bloodline roared at the sky, and a strong devouring power burst out from its mouth. The strength of this devouring power was dozens of times stronger than before the evolution. The mouth of the 9 dragons' bloodline was like a black hole. A terrifying devouring power spread out, enveloping over 100 martial grand masters. More than 100 warriors in the great martial mentor realm seemed to have been frozen in place. Then they revealed extremely terrified expressions. The power of my bloodline is flowing away. Not good, I feel like my essence blood is being sucked out. The 100 martial grand masters let out terrified cries. Devour. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes as he shouted softly. Brr. The 9 dragons' bloodline roared, and the devouring power in its mouth became even stronger. Following that, a terrifying scene occurred. Over 100 martial grand masters, all kinds of blood vessels floated above their heads. These blood vessels let out a mournful wail and actually left their masters. They flew towards the 9 dragons' blood vessels and were swallowed by the 9 dragons' blood vessels. My bloodline power has been devoured. A blood-curdling scream rang out, but the next moment the scream abruptly stopped. This was because 9 drops of blood essence flew out from each person's body and were devoured by the 9 dragons' bloodline. More than 100 people were lying flat on the ground, no longer breathing. The scene was completely silent. Even the great battle between the Mo clan's martial ancestors and Yen Quan had temporarily stopped. Everyone stared at Lu Ming dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. A single roar from his bloodline had actually devoured the bloodline power and blood essence of over 100 people. What kind of ability was this? He was simply a demon. Demon, you are a demon. Someone from the Mo family shouted. What demon? In my opinion, your Mo clan is the real devil. All of you deserve to die. Kill. Yan Quan roared as he charged towards the Mo family. The two sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. Moing looked at Lu Ming in horror. I never thought that after the 9 dragons bloodline evolved to the king level, its devouring power would be so terrifying that it could directly devour living people. Even Lu Ming himself was shocked. In the past, it could only devour the blood essence of those who had died in battle. Now that the 9 dragons bloodline had evolved to the king level, it could even devour living people. Those martial artists were only martial masters. I wonder if it would be effective against martial artists above the martial ancestor realm? At the thought of this, Lu Ming cast his gaze towards the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Let's give it a try. Immediately, Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons bloodline and the terrifying devouring power enveloped the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Immediately, some of the martial ancestor realm experts with lower cultivation levels trembled and their bloodline power became unstable. What kind of power is this? The martial ancestor realm experts roared as their genuine qi exploded wildly to resist Lu Ming's devouring power. It is more effective against martial artists below the 4th martial ancestor realm as it can affect the stability of the bloodline. It is also effective against martial artists above the 4th martial ancestor realm, but it is relatively less effective. In an instant, Lu Ming came to a conclusion. 4 martial artists with lower cultivation levels than him, it was still effective. It could affect the circulation of their bloodline, but it could not devour their blood essence and bloodline power like a martial grandmaster. It would be blocked. 4 martial artists with a higher cultivation level than Lu Ming, it was also effective, but the effect was relatively small. However, it was not to be underestimated. If his opponent's bloodline and blood essence were affected in a big battle, their combat strength would be greatly reduced. Be careful. At this moment, the Mo clan head roared. Due to the influence of Lu Ming's bloodline's devouring power, the Mo clan's 100-sword battle formation became unstable. Yan Quan seized the opportunity to attack fiercely and was at a disadvantage. The Mo clan will be destroyed today. Yan Quan roared as his attacks were like a tidal wave. Hold on. Yan Quan has been suppressed for more than 10 years and is heavily injured. This is only a temporary eruption. He won't be able to hold on for long. When he can't hold on any longer, it will be our time to counterattack. At that time, everything will still be under our control. The Mo clan head roared. Everyone from the Mo clan calmed down and used all of their strength to stabilize the situation. Yan Quan's face was somewhat gloomy. His situation was indeed as the Mo clan head had said. He had been suppressed for too long and suffered all kinds of torture. There were many hidden injuries on his body. Now he was only using a secret technique to erupt with his peak strength. However, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Once the secret technique's duration was up, he would fall into a passive situation. Immediately, Yan Quan used all of his strength and attacked with all his might. Haha, Yan Quan can't hold on any longer. Just as I guessed, we can hold on. The Mo clan head laughed and revealed a joyful expression. Boom. At this moment, a huge explosion sounded from the ground behind the stone house. Following which, a blood-colored pillar of light shot out from the ground and pierced through the clouds. Shwa. Following which, a tall and sturdy figure rushed out from the blood-colored pillar of light. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This figure was the golden-eyed blood zombie that had gone to the underground cave to absorb the flood dragon's blood. However, the aura emitted by the golden-eyed blood zombie was extremely terrifying. It was not any weaker than Yan Quan's. This was the aura of a half-step king. Who would have thought that after absorbing the flood dragon's blood, the golden-eyed blood zombie would advance from the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm to the half-step king level? Furthermore, it had only taken such a short time. After being stunned for a moment, Lu Ming was overjoyed. Golden-eyed, kill them. Lu Ming pointed at the Mo clan members. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced towards the Mo clan members. Not good, block it. The Mo clan head's face changed drastically. Aha, the heavens want your Mo clan to die. How could Yan Quan miss this opportunity? He laughed heartily and attacked the Mo clan members. Devour. Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons bloodline again and a powerful devouring force was used on the Mo clan members. Boom. 2 explosions sounded. following which screams rang out. Some of the Mo clan members who were only at the first or second level of the martial ancestor realm were directly killed by the terrifying energy. Even those with higher cultivation were greatly shaken. Chapter 333. Under the combined attacks of Yen Quan Golden Eye Blood Zombie, and Lu Ming, the 100-sword battle formation of the Mo family collapsed. 7 or 8 martial ancestor realm first and second realm experts were instantly killed. Not good. Run run. At this moment, the Mo family head was terrified as he roared crazily. The 100-sword battle formation had been broken and the other side had 2 half-step king realm experts. There was no need to fight. If they stayed they would definitely die. After the Mo family head roared, he turned into a ray of light and fled crazily into the distance. You want to leave? No one can leave. Yen Quan roared as he chased after the Mo family head. In a few breaths he caught up with the Mo family head. Yen Quan. The Mo family head roared as he launched a frenzied counterattack. However, the difference between an ordinary martial ancestor realm 9th realm and a half-step king was obvious. In just a few moves, the Mo family head was beaten until he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Die. Yen Quan shouted as he grabbed the head of the Mo clan's patriarch and twisted it, twisting his head off. Ha ha, kill kill kill. Yen Quan roared with laughter as he continued to chase after the others. Whoosh, whoosh. On the other side, Lu Ming's long spear was constantly thrusting. Streaks of spear radiance shot out and pierced a few martial ancestor realm 3rd and 4th realm Mo family martial artists into sieves. The golden eye blood zombie's body flashed rapidly as it waved its claws and tore the Mo family martial ancestor realm experts into pieces. This was a massacre. The Mo family martial ancestor realm experts were as weak as babies in front of the golden eye blood zombie and Yen Quan. Even if there were some who managed to escape, they would be caught and killed. Lu Ming did not have the slightest bit of mercy. The Dark Moon Empire and the Burning Sun Empire were at war and were originally enemies. Moreover, it was the Mo family who wanted to take his life first. Since they were enemies, there was no need to show mercy. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. Kill? Lu Ming held his long spear and fought while bathed in blood. He had broken through to the 4th realm martial ancestor realm. Martial ancestor realm experts were no threat to him. Little bastard, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. A 7th martial ancestor realm elder from the Mo family roared as he charged towards Lu Ming. Brr. The 9 dragons bloodline roared, and a terrifying devouring power acted on the old man, causing his body to slow down. Whoosh. Lu Ming rushed over, the long spear piercing through his heart, creating a large hole. A one-hit kill. Then the essence blood and bloodline power all flew into the 9 dragons bloodline's mouth. In the sky above the Mo family, screams rose and fell. Not far away, the Mo clan's martial masters, warriors, and even those with lower cultivations were frantically fleeing in all directions. Lu Ming did not kill these people. These people hadn't seen Lu Ming's bloodline evolve, and they posed no threat to him, so there was no need to kill them. At this moment, Su Tiancheng fell into a deathly silence. Countless people were hiding in their homes, trembling. After a while, the screams stopped. The dozens of martial arts grandmasters from the Mo family were all killed. Brr. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared. Blood chi rose from his body and his body turned red. However, his eyes were even more dazzling. Mo Ying stood there in a daze as she scanned her surroundings. Corpses came into her sight, and her eyes were filled with complicated emotions. In this short period of time, her life had undergone earth-shaking changes. These people were the elders of the Mo family that she respected. However, she suddenly found out that these people were just using her. For a moment, she found it hard to accept. Lu Ming did not speak. He just stood there quietly. After a while, Lu Ming said, "Miss Mo Ying, I'm leaving. What are your plans?" Although Mo Ying had seen his bloodline evolve, he could not do such a thing as killing Mo Ying to silence her. Mo Ying's body trembled, and she seemed to have come to her senses. She squeezed out an ugly smile and said, "Brother Lu, I plan to leave the Yin Moon Empire and travel the world." Lu Ming nodded and said, "That's good too." Lu Ming knew that Mo Ying held a grudge against him. After all, Mo Ying was a member of the Mo family. Lu Ming had killed so many people from the Mo family. It was normal for Mo Ying to hold a grudge against him. Therefore, Lu Ming did not invite Mo Ying to go with him. "Brother Lu, we'll meet again if fate wills it," Mo Ying said softly. She glanced at the Mo family, then turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the sky. Haha little brother, I can't bear to part with you. At this moment, Yan Quan appeared beside Lu Ming. No, I'm just lamenting. Sometimes fate is unpredictable. Lu Ming said with a smile. That's right. Fate is unpredictable. That's why we have to cultivate martial arts to break the shackles of fate and fight against the heavens. Yan Quan grinned and said, Little brother, this time, it's all thanks to your help that I was able to escape. If you have any requests, feel free to ask. As long as it's within my means, I'll do my best. Lu Ming shook his head and said with a smile, Senior, you're being too polite. It's just a coincidence. That won't do. In my life, I've always repaid kindness with kindness and hatred with revenge. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease. This time it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to escape and would have been refined into the Inua Devil Lord, sinking into oblivion forever. This is a great favor and I have to repay it. Yan Quan said stubbornly. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. To be honest, Yan Quan's combat strength was extremely powerful. It would be a lie to say that he did not want to ask Yan Quan for help. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming said, Senior, please stay by my side and help me for a period of time. Is that possible? Alright, I'll stay by your side and help you for 10 years. After 10 years we'll be even. How about that? Yan Quan said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Thank you, Senior. The current situation in the Burning Sun Empire was complicated. With Yan Quan's help and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie, Lu Ming had the strength to protect himself. Only then could he become a true overlord in the Burning Sun Empire. He would also have the strength to contend with the Ten Direction Sword faction. One had to know that in the Burning Sun Empire, a half-step king was the strongest. The Burning Sun Empire had not produced a true king for several hundred years. Yan Quan grinned. In fact, Yan Quan was also extremely curious about Lu Ming. At such a young age, not only was he extremely powerful, but he also had a powerful existence like the Golden Eye Blood Zombie by his side. Yan Quan had lived for so long, but this was the first time he had encountered such a person. Senior, to be honest, I'm actually not from the Inua Empire, but from the Burning Sun Empire. Moreover, the Burning Sun Empire and the Inua Empire are currently at war. I wonder if Senior would mind? Lu Ming said. War between the two empires? It just so happens that the Inua Empire's royal family is despicable and shameless. They tried to assassinate me. I'm just about to settle the score with them. Heading to the Burning Sun Empire and killing the experts of the Inua Empire is exactly what I want. Yan Quan laughed. Alright then, let's go. Lu Ming said. Subsequently, the Golden Eye Blood Zombie and Yan Quan turned into a ray of light and disappeared, heading towards the Moon City. On the way, Lu Ming roughly explained his identity and the current situation. Chapter 334. Yan Quan was not from the Yin Moon Empire. He was an outsider who had traveled to the Yin Moon Empire a dozen years ago. During that time, he had met a top expert from the Yin Moon Imperial family and the Emo family's previous family master. The three of them had a good relationship back then. However, the Emo family's previous family master and the Yin Moon Imperial family's previous family master were ambitious. They had secretly poisoned Yan Quan and then sealed him under the Emo family's ground. They wanted to refine him into a Yin Moon demonic leader. They had been sealed for more than a dozen years. If Lu Ming had not encountered this matter by chance, he would not have been able to escape the fate of being refined into a Yin Moon demonic leader. Along the way, Yan Quan's expression suddenly changed slightly as he revealed a bitter smile and said, This old man has been suppressed for more than 10 years and has suffered heavy injuries. Earlier, I forcefully unleashed my secret technique. Now that the secret technique's duration has passed, I need to find a place to heal. Senior, healing is more important. Lu Ming said. They found a secluded place. Yan Quan sat down cross-legged and started to heal his injuries. Lu Ming asked the Golden Eye Blood Zombie to patrol the surroundings while he sat down cross-legged. He had devoured a large amount of blood essence and now it was time to refine it. Half of it was absorbed by his bloodline and the other half was converted into true qi. There were dozens of martial ancestors from the Emo family. Among them, there were a few martial ancestors of the 8th realm and the Emo family's family master, who was a martial ancestor of the 9th realm. How strong was the blood essence? Lu Ming's cultivation rose rapidly. One day later, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 4th realm of the martial ancestor realm. However, no matter how hard Lu Ming tried, he could not break through. Lu Ming knew that his cultivation had risen too quickly and his true qi was not pure. His foundation was not stable and he needed time to improve. Lu Ming then used the remaining blood essence to improve his bloodline. However, after refining all the blood essence, his 9 dragons bloodline was still at the first realm of the king bloodline. It was too difficult to improve his bloodline. At that moment, Yan Quan was still healing his injuries. His body was emitting a scorching red aura as he nurtured his body. Yan Quan's recuperation took 7 days. After 7 days, Yan Quan opened his eyes. "Senior, how do you feel?" Lu Ming asked. "After being suppressed for more than a decade, there are simply too many hidden injuries all over my body. It'll be difficult for me to make a full recovery in a short period of time. However, I've managed to stabilize my condition for the time being. It shouldn't be a problem for me to exert my full strength during the battle. As for the other hidden injuries, I should be able to make a full recovery soon," Yan Quan said. "That's great," Lu Ming said with a smile. After that, the 3 of them continued their journey. With their speed, it only took half a day to return to Full Moon City. Of course, on the way, Lu Ming put on his mask again and returned to the appearance of Tianyun. The Marquis is back. When the Scarlet Blood cavalrymen in charge of patrolling the camp saw Lu Ming, they cried out in pleasant surprise. Then the news of Lu Ming's return spread throughout Full Moon City at a crazy speed, causing a huge sensation. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures shot through the air at an extremely fast speed. It was Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing. "Young master." Seeing Lu Ming, Autumn Moon was incomparably excited. She wasn't afraid of being shy and threw herself into Lu Ming's arms. Tears flowed down like pearls and she cried like a pear blossom in the rain. Young master, you're finally back. We saw the traces of the battle at the place where GoldenEye was cultivating. We thought you. Ooh, it's great that you're back." Autumn Moon cried loudly. Strings of tears flowed down, wetting Lu Ming's clothes. "Silly girl, your young master is blessed. How could something happen to him so easily? Moreover, I can't bear to part with my family's Autumn Moon." Lu Ming stroked Autumn Moon's hair and said softly. Only then did Autumn Moon feel a little better. She left Lu Ming's arms, but her eyes were red and tears were still rolling. On the side, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth when he saw this scene. He didn't say anything. You're so comfortable. You're so warm and soft as soon as you come back." After a while, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and said, "Xiaoqing, now that my arms are empty, do you want to try?" Lu Ming blinked and smiled. "Try your head. It's good that you're not dead." Xian Yanqing continued to snort coldly. "I still owe you a favor. How can I die before I complete it?" Lu Ming laughed. It's good that you remember." Xian Yanqing snorted again. At this time, Hua Ying and the other Qixia cavalry warriors appeared one by one. Then, it was Ming Ming, Miangcheng and the other 2 siblings. "Greetings, Marquis." When they saw Lu Ming, they all bowed. "No need to be so polite. Let's go back to the camp." Lu Ming waved his hand. On the way, Yan Quan saw the majestic Qixia cavalry and his eyes flashed with a strange light. However, Lu Ming frowned. Because he found that the entire camp was heavily guarded and the atmosphere was very heavy. Did another big battle happen recently? "Hua Ying, how's the situation? Did another big battle happen? I feel that the atmosphere in the camp is not right." When they arrived at the camp, Lu Ming asked, "Marquis, something big happened." This was Hua Ying's first sentence. His expression was very heavy. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows and looked around. He found that Ming Ming, Miangcheng and the others all had heavy expressions. Lu Ming had a bad premonition and asked, "Tell me what happened?" "Marquis, the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed." Hua Ying replied. "What?" Even with Lu Ming's calmness, his body shook violently and his eyes showed disbelief. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was one of the 5 great sects of the Blazing Sun Empire. It dominated the northern part of the Blazing Sun Empire and was incomparably powerful. How could such a powerful force be annihilated just like that? Even if the 10 Direction Sword sect attacked with all their strength, they might not be able to take down the Ghost Moon Saber sect. What the hell is going on? Lu Ming took a deep breath to calm himself down. "Marquis, 10 days ago the Yin Moon Empire sent out 2 million troops to invade the territory of the Ghost Moon Saber sect. The Ghost Moon Saber sect sent out a large number of experts to resist. However, they never expected that at this time, a large number of experts from the Omnidirectional Sword sect would launch a surprise attack on the Ghost Moon Saber sect. At the same time, a portion of the Ghost Moon Saber sect had already surrendered to the Omnidirectional Sword sect. They attacked the Ghost Moon Saber sect from the inside. Afterwards, the Ten Direction Sword sect sent out many experts to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts together with the Een Moon Empire's experts. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was caught off guard and their experts were all killed. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was completely destroyed. Huang explained. So that's how it is. I understand. This was a trap set from the beginning. Lu Ming suddenly understood. Obviously, the Ten Direction Sword sect had cooperated with the Een Moon Empire long ago. Therefore, the Een Moon Empire's army attacked. Their goal was to attract the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts so that they could prepare to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect. Unfortunately, last time the Een Moon Empire had suffered great losses because of Lu Ming's sabotage. They did not attract many Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts. Therefore, there were assassins who tried to assassinate Lu Ming. Moreover, there were people from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion among the assassins. After thinking about it, everything became clear. Ten Direction Sword Sect, you Ten Direction Sword Sect. Chapter 335. Marquis, the annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect has shaken the entire Burning Sun Empire. We're in the north, not far from the Ghost Moon Saber sect. We're afraid that the Decimo Sword sect will attack us, so we're on high alert. Huang explained. After the annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect, the Een Moon Empire's army has moved south and occupied a large part of the Burning Sun Empire's territory. I guess that's what the Decimo Sword sect promised the Een Moon Empire. They're really a bunch of traitors. Ming Meng gritted his teeth. Then, did the Decimo Sword sect make any new moves during this period? Lu Ming asked. Not yet. Huang said. Pay attention to the news from the outside world. The Decimo Sword sect's actions have shaken the entire empire. The other sects will definitely join forces. This isn't good news for the Decimo Sword sect. So, the Decimo Sword sect will definitely make a big move. Lu Ming analyzed. At this moment, Ming Meng's expression changed slightly. He moved his hand and a jade token appeared. This was a 1,000 miles voice transmission talisman. Usually, a general would have one to send messages. When Ming Meng saw the message from the 10,000 miles sound transmitting talisman, his body shook violently. His face suddenly became incomparably pale without a trace of blood. How could this be? Ming Meng roared, his eyes were filled with disbelief. Brother Ming, what's going on? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. He had a bad feeling in his heart. The Sky Suppressor rebelled. He led the army to break into the imperial capital and flatten the palace. The emperor was killed. Ming Meng said in a trembling voice. What? Ming Meng's words were like a bolt from the blue. Most of the people present, including Lu Ming, were shocked. Lu Ming, Huaying, and the others' faces turned pale. The Sky Suppressor, the Decimo Sword sect. Lu Ming roared, his killing intent surging. The Sky Suppressor couldn't have done it alone. Needless to say, the Decimo Sword sect was behind all this. Traitor, how dare the Sky Suppressor? How dare he? Huaying roared hysterically, his eyes red. He was a member of the imperial family. He almost went crazy. The Sky Suppressor's banner is to eliminate the incapable emperor and rebuild the Burning Sun Empire. Ah, how shameless. Ming Meng laughed in anger. Father, mother? Lu Ming's first, Lu Yintian. How were Lu Yintian and Li Ping doing in the general hall? At the thought of this, Lu Ming was burning with anxiety. Master, and madam and the others? By the side, Chiu Yu grabbed Lu Ming's arm tightly. Her entire body was trembling slightly and she was extremely worried. Big brother Ming, is there any other news? Imperial family's emperor, is alive? Lu Ming forced himself to calm down. He sect, king from the sect. Ming sect, according to the news, the sky-suppressing king actually attacked. His Majesty and the experts of the royal family fought back with all their might. In the end, the 8th prince escaped with a group of people. However, after the 8th prince escaped from the royal capital, there was no news of him. Ming Meng said. Huaqi escaped. Lu Ming's eyes lit up with a glimmer of hope. If Huaqi escaped, he would definitely bring Lu Yintian and Li Ping with him. Then Lu Yintian and Li Ping might be fine. 10 Direction Sword faction, if anything happens to my parents, I swear I'll kill all of you. Lu Ming clenched his fists. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Marquis, what should we do now? From now on, my Zhenyu army will listen to the Marquis. Ming Meng cupped his fists and knelt on one knee. Good. Lu Ming agreed without hesitation. Marquis Champion was of a higher rank than Ming Meng. It was normal for him to lead the mountain suppression army. Everyone listen to my order. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and began to give the order. Please give your orders, Marquis. Hua Ying, Ming Meng and the others knelt on one knee. Full Moon City is located in the north. The Yinhui Empire is in the north and the Shifang Sword Sect is in the south. It is very unfavorable for us. We should not stay here for long. Ming Meng, you will lead the mountain suppression army to the east and head to the Wang Immortal Pass. The Wang Immortal Pass is easy to defend and difficult to attack. It is a natural stronghold and has always obeyed the orders of the royal family. We will not ally ourselves with the Shifang Sword Sect. Once we reach the Wang Immortal Pass, we can ally ourselves with the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and fight against the Shifang Sword Sect. Lu Ming ordered. He knew that the Burning Sun Empire was in chaos. There would definitely be a great war in the future. Yes, Marquis Champion. Ming Meng said. Also, 30,000 red blood cavalry will follow me to the imperial capital and save the 8th prince. Lu Ming ordered. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Yes. Hua Ying and the others accepted the order loudly. Marquis, you can't. The Shifang Sword Sect is full of experts. It is too dangerous. Ming Meng's expression changed drastically as he objected. Although the red blood cavalry was strong, they could only be used as vanguard. If the Shifang Sword Sect sent out experts to assassinate Lu Ming, it would be dangerous. The others also hesitated. Don't worry. I will kill every Shifang Sword Sect that I see. Lu Ming said coldly. Rumble. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound came from outside. Report, there is a large army coming from outside. A soldier came to report. It must be the Shifang Sword Sect. The Shifang Sword Sect is finally here. I knew that they would not leave us here. Ming Meng's expression changed. Good timing, Qixia cavalry, follow me into battle. Lu Ming ordered. Yes. Hua Ying and the others accepted the order loudly. Rumble. Not long after, Lu Ming rode on the red blood-scaled Wolf King, followed by Xian Yanqing, Qiuyu, the golden-eyed blood zombie, Yan Quan, Hua Ying, Ming Meng and the rest. He led 30,000 red blood armored cavalry out of the military camp and arrived outside Full Moon City. In front of them, smoke and dust filled the air. A majestic army appeared in their line of sight. Black war horses, black armor and black weapons. Between the heavens and the earth, a black torrent of steel spread over. A large flag with a divine sword embroidered on it fluttered in the wind. That is the Ghost Iron Army of the Ghost Moon Saber Sect. It seems that the Ghost Iron Army has already joined the Shifang Sword Sect. Ming Meng's expression changed. That large flag was the flag of the Shifang Sword Sect. Lu Ming nodded. After the Ghost Moon Saber Sect was destroyed, some of the army under the Ghost Moon Saber Sect had joined the Shifang Sword Sect. This was normal. Rumble. The Ghost Iron Army stopped a few miles away. Their aura was heavy and dense. Looking at their numbers, there should be no less than 100,000 people. Shwa. Shwa. A few figures flew out from the Ghost Iron Army and hovered in the air above Lu Ming and the others. There was a total of 3 people, an old man and 2 middle-aged men. They all carried battle swords on their backs. With one look, one could tell that they were experts of the Shifang Sword Sect. The 3 of them emitted an extremely powerful aura. A peak 8th Martial Ancestor Realm and 2 peak 7th Martial Ancestor Realm. Chapter 336. The 3 men from the Decimo Sword Sect glanced at Lu Ming and the others before fixing their eyes on Lu Ming. You're Tianyun? The leading old man asked. That's right. Lu Ming said indifferently. He wanted to see what they were up to. Tianyun, you've repeatedly gone against the Decimo Sword Sect and killed our geniuses. Do you know what you've done? The leading old man stared coldly at Lu Ming. Do I know what I've done? I haven't even told you that I've killed your bastards. How can I know what I've done? What's wrong with that? Lu Ming replied indifferently. He didn't take them seriously at all. You! The leading old man's face turned pale and he emitted a cold killing intent. After a while, he calmed down and waved his sleeve. Tianyun, there are no eternal enemies in the world. There are only eternal interests. Today I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. As long as you lead the Red Blood Cavalry and submit to the Decimo Sword Sect and make a blood oath to be loyal to us, I'll consider letting you go. All the crimes you've committed in the past can be written off. After the old man finished speaking, everyone understood what he meant. Now that the Red Blood Army was powerful and famous in the Yinhui country and the Scorching Sun country, the Decimo Sword Sect was going to recruit Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered. You want me to let you go? Who do you think you are? You're just an old bastard. Do you really think you're a big shot? Well, are you done talking nonsense? If you're done, you can die. Lu Ming glanced at the old man and lost his patience. Little bastard, since you refuse a toast, I'll kill you today. After killing you, the Red Blood Army will still belong to the Decimo Sword Sect. Die. The old man's face darkened completely. He shouted and slashed out with his sword. This slash revealed the old man's strength of the 8th martial ancestor realm. It had the power to break mountains and rivers. It was extremely shocking. Oh no, be careful. Ming Ming shouted. Young master. Get out of the way. Marky. On the autumn moon, Xian Yanqing Huaying and the others were all shocked. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, it was impossible for him to be a match for a martial artist at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. But Lu Ming rode on top of the crimson blood scale Wolf King, motionless. The old man revealed a ferocious expression. The sword light became even more resplendent as it rapidly slashed towards Lu Ming's head. Seeing that it was about to behead Lu Ming, the old man was overjoyed. What kind of peerless genius is that? What kind of genius is that? What kind of genius is that? You're still going to die in my hands. But as soon as he thought this, he saw a slap coming from beside Lu Ming. Bang! When this slap landed on his sword light, it was as if the sword light was made of tofu and instantly shattered. The old man was stunned. Ming Ming, Autumn Moon and the others were also stunned. It's just a fly making a big fuss here. It's so annoying. Yan Quan appeared beside Lu Ming and said indifferently. That slap just now was naturally from Yan Quan. Who are you? I'm an elder of the Decimo Sword Sect. How dare you? The old man from the Decimo Sword Sect was stunned for a moment before he shouted. But before he could finish, Yan Quan slapped him again. Slap. No one could see how this slap was delivered. It was too fast. They only saw a blur before they heard a crisp slap. Then they saw the old man from the Decimo Sword Sect cry out in pain as he was sent flying. In the air, his head was like a watermelon as it exploded with a bang. Red and white matter splattered everywhere. Ming Ming and the others almost bit their tongues as their eyes almost popped out. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was considered a top expert in the Blazing Sun Empire. In the 5 major sects, he was definitely a superior existence. His status was even higher than an ordinary golden-robed elder. Ordinary golden-robed elders were only at the martial arts grandmaster realm. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was slapped to death with a single slap. That was too shocking. The old man beside Lu Ming was actually such a terrifying expert? Previously, when Ming Ming and the others saw Yan Quan, they had only guessed that he was an ordinary martial arts grandmaster. They had never expected him to be so terrifying. Then they looked at Lu Ming with even more respect. How did Lu Ming manage to have such a person by his side? The remaining 2 burly men from the Decimo Sword Sect were scared out of their wits. At that moment they shouted and turned to run. You want to run away in front of me? How is that possible? Yan Quan laughed coldly as he threw out a punch. Boom, boom. 2 bursts of fist force shot out. The 2 burly men at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm were drowned by the fist force. When the fist force disappeared, there was nothing left of the 2 burly men. Yan Quan had easily taken care of 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. Once again everyone was dumbfounded. Only Lu Ming was an exception. What a waste, what a waste. Lu Ming was heartbroken. Yan Quan's punch had even burned their blood essence. How could Lu Ming not be heartbroken? Those were 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. The commotion here naturally shocked the Ghost Iron Army several miles away. Oh no, Tianyun has made his move. Kill them all. Of course, there were experts from the Decimo Sword Sect in the Ghost Army. At that moment, they roared and led the army to charge at Lu Ming and the others. Charge, destroy them. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Brr, brr, brr. The crimson blood-scaled wolves howled and their roar shook the sky as they charged at the Ghost Army. Their aura was so strong that it shook the heavens and the earth. Oh no, the mounts are frightened. Charge, beast, hurry up and charge. The howls of the 30,000 crimson blood-scaled wolves frightened the mounts of the Ghost Army and caused their formation to become unstable. In a short while, the crimson blood-scaled wolves had reached them. Boom. The 2 armies slammed into each other. At that moment, the difference between the 2 armies was obvious. The Ghost Army was like a piece of paper while the crimson blood-scaled wolves were like a blade. As soon as they collided, the Ghost Army was torn apart and this gap was rapidly expanding. Hold on, you trash. An expert from the Decimo sword sect shouted. What are you shouting for? At this moment, Yen Quan's figure appeared beside him. Oh. Just as he was about to shout, his head was chopped off by Yen Quan. Yen Quan leaped through the army and killed the martial arts grandmaster expert. No one could stop him. A half-step king. Only a half-step king could stop him. It was simply cheating to kill a half-step king. The difference was too big and it was no longer something that could be solved by numbers. Unless there was a battle formation like the Mo family and dozens of martial arts grandmasters, they would be able to resist. Above Lu Ming's head, the 9 dragons' bloodline floated. With a loud roar, a terrifying devouring power erupted. Immediately, the power of bloodline and blood essence of hundreds of Ghost Legion soldiers were devoured. Wherever Lu Ming passed, corpses were left behind. This was a one-sided battle. The Ghost Army could not stop the Crimson Blood-Scaled Wolves at all. Chapter 337. I surrender, I surrender. Finally, someone from the Ghost Iron Legion shouted, throwing away his weapon and jumping off his horse. I surrender too. With the first, there was naturally a second, third, 10th, 100th. The Ghost Iron Legion originally belonged to the Ghost Moon Saber sect. It was already good enough that they didn't have any enmity towards the Shifang Sword sect. How could they be loyal? Seeing that the situation wasn't right, they naturally surrendered. Those who surrender will be spared. Lu Ming shouted, his voice resounding throughout the battlefield. Those who surrender will be spared. Ming Ming, Huaying, and the others also shouted. This time, more and more people surrendered. Large groups of people jumped off their horses and knelt on the ground. In the army, the people of the Shifang Sword sect saw that the situation was hopeless and wanted to escape, but they were all killed by Lu Ming and the others. In this battle, the 100,000 Ghost Iron Legion was destroyed without any effort. Ming Ming, I'll leave the surrendered Ghost Iron Legion to you. Bring them to the Wangxian Pass, they will be a powerful force in the future. Lu Ming ordered. Yes, Marquis. Ming Ming cupped his fists and accepted the order. On the side, Myongcheng, Pearl, and Ming Peak had a complicated expression. This young man who used to cultivate with them in the Star General Hall had now completely surpassed them. Now even their father had to listen to Lu Ming. However, they didn't have the slightest bit of jealousy. They only felt happy for Lu Ming and encouraged themselves. Qixia Cavalry, follow me to the imperial capital to rescue the 8th prince. Do you dare? Lu Ming waved his long spear and shouted. Dare, dare, dare. The 30,000 Qixia Cavalry roared. Good, since you dare, then we will break through all the passes and kill our way to the imperial capital. If God blocks us, then we will kill God. If Buddha blocks us, then we will kill Buddha. Lu Ming shouted. Who is the Marquis? If God blocks us, then we will kill God. If Buddha blocks us, then we will kill Buddha. The 30,000 Qixia Cavalry felt their blood boiling as they waved their weapons and roared. At this moment, even Ming Meng, a veteran of many years, felt his blood boiling. He wished he could follow Lu Ming and kill to his heart's content. But he understood that he had more important things to do. Charge. Lu Ming waved his long spear. The Crimson Blood-Scale Wolf King let out a long howl and turned into a gust of wind, charging forward. Beside him, Mid-Autumn Moon, Xian Yanqing Yen Quan, and the golden-eyed blood zombie followed closely behind. Charge. Immediately after, the howls of wolves rang out unceasingly. The 30,000 Qixia cavalrymen followed Lu Ming and charged forward. It's windy. Ming Ming muttered to himself as he watched the 30,000 Qixia cavalrymen leave. Immediately after, he also began to take action. He gathered his men, ordered some items, and led an army of more than 100,000 to the east, towards the Immortal Gazing Pass. The Crimson Blood-Scale Wolf's speed was as fast as the wind, and it was not a problem for it to travel 1,000 miles in an hour. In a few hours they had traveled 1,000 miles. Some of the cities along the way did not dare to obstruct the mighty Qixia cavalrymen in the slightest. Their journey was smooth and unobstructed. After passing through dozens of big cities, they quickly approached the Yutong Pass. The Yutong Pass was a famous pass in the north of the Burning Sun Empire. The pass was surrounded by steep mountains that were thousands of meters high. The Yutong Pass happened to be in the middle of 2 peaks. It could be said that the Yutong Pass was guarded by 1 man against 10,000. In history, the Yi Moon Empire had conquered many cities in the north, but they were all blocked outside the Yutong Pass in the end. Now, the general guarding the Yutong Pass was called Wan Xiu. He had a cultivation of the 6th martial ancestor realm and led 120,000 soldiers to guard the Yutong Pass. He dominated dozens of big cities and could be said to be a big shot with great power and influence. Moreover, he had long since joined the Shifang Sword sect. Thus, his prestige was even greater. In the entire Burning Sun Empire he was considered a top figure. Wuxia had a hobby. He liked to set up banquets on the walls of the Yutong Pass and invite famous people to come. Just like this, standing on the walls of the Yutong Pass, overlooking the vast land and listening to the flattery of others, he felt like he was the ruler of the world and had thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. This feeling fascinated him. Today he set up a banquet on the walls of the Yutong Pass and invited more than 10 city lords and martial experts of the nearby big cities to come to the banquet. Several tables were set up on the walls. "Congratulations, General Wan. Congratulations, General Wan." A pot-bellied middle-aged man raised his wine cup and congratulated Wan Xiu. "Patriarch Shen, what's the good news?" Wan Xiu asked even though he already knew the answer. "Haha, General Wan is so humble. Everyone knows the current situation. Not long ago the Shifang Sword sect destroyed the Ghost Moon Saber sect. A few days ago, Sky-suppressing King broke into the imperial capital and killed Hua Jingxin. Now that there is a change of dynasty, it is certain. Now, the Sky Evil sect and the Shifang Sword sect have joined forces and occupied the imperial capital. Now, only the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley can rival the Shifang Sword sect. But in my opinion, the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley are no match for the Shifang Sword sect. When the time comes, the Shifang Sword sect will unify the Burning Sun Empire and become the ruler of the world. As a trusted subordinate of the Shifang Sword sect, General Wan will prosper day by day. Isn't this worthy of congratulations? The pot-bellied middle-aged man laughed. Yes, Patriarch Shen is right. When the time comes, General Wan will rise to the top. Don't forget about us. At the banquet, other people also flattered Wan Xiu. This made Wan Xiu feel a little smug. He stroked a few strands of his sparse beard and couldn't stop smiling. Rumble. Suddenly, a dull rumbling sound came from the ground. The wine on the table started to sway slightly. Everyone's expression changed. Report. At this moment, a soldier in armor came to report quickly. What happened? Wan Xiu asked. General, there might be an army coming from the north. The armored soldier reported. An army is coming? How is it possible? The Ghost Moon Saber sect has been destroyed. Now the north is under the control of the Shifang Sword sect. Could it be the army of the Yin Moon Empire? Wan Xiu's eyes moved as he pondered. Impossible. I heard that the Yin Moon Empire and the Shifang Sword sect have an agreement. They won't attack now. Then whose army is it? Wan Xiu's eyes kept moving. General Wan, there is another army in the north. That is the Crimson Blood Army led by the Marquis Champion Tianyun and the Mountain Suppression Army led by Ming Meng. Could it be them? A city lord of a big city guessed. Hearing this, other people's expressions changed greatly. Tianyun? Could it really be Tianyun? It is said that the Crimson Blood Army led by Tianyun is extremely powerful and invincible. The Yin Moon cavalry is as weak as tofu in front of them. If it really is Tianyun's Crimson Blood Army, we should run for our lives. Another big city lord cried out in horror. Why are you panicking? People always like to exaggerate. In my opinion, Tianyun and his Scarlet Blood cavalry have been exaggerated. What do you mean by invincible? They've just won a few battles by luck. Moreover, even if it is true, so what? In front of the Yutong Pass, even the strongest army can't break through. Tianyun's Crimson Blood Army can only obediently retreat in front of my Yutong Pass. If he wants to attack, I will let him die without a burial place. Guards, set up the defense. Wan Xiu was calm and composed. He sneered and gave the order. Soon the Yutong Pass was filled with armored soldiers. That's right. The Yutong Pass cannot be broken through. I worried too much. The city lord of a big city let out a long breath. Rumble. The rumbling sound became louder. The whole world seemed to tremble. Roar. Chapter 338. There were countless crimson blood-scaled wolves. Each one of them was tall and strong, and each one was filled with killing intent. 30,000 crimson blood-scaled wolves, in addition to 30,000 martial master knights, gathered their auras together. That kind of aura was simply earth-shattering, like a tsunami a few hundred meters high, sweeping through the heavens and the earth, as if it could destroy everything. Wan Xiu's pupils dilated, and he showed a terrified expression. This is the Crimson Blood Cavalry? His voice was trembling and his face was pale. Cold sweat poured down from his forehead. The other castellans were also trembling and their faces were pale. They were full of confidence a moment ago, and thought that Yutong Pass was unbreakable. But when they saw the situation in front of them, their confidence collapsed. The crimson blood-scaled wolves were too terrifying. Wuxia had said that the outside world was exaggerating about the crimson blood cavalry. Now they only wanted to shout, what exaggeration? They were obviously looking down on the crimson blood cavalry. Block it, we must block it. Wuxia shouted at the top of his lungs. Then he turned around and ran away. Wait for me. The other castellans also turned around and ran away. Since all the generals had left, there was no suspense in this battle. Yutong Pass's dangerous terrain could not stop the crimson blood-scaled wolves. The crimson blood-scaled wolves originally lived on the plateau, and running in dangerous terrain was like running on flat ground. Half an hour later, Yutong Pass was flattened, and the crimson blood cavalry whistled through, heading straight for the imperial capital. The crimson blood cavalry had great endurance, and after running for half a day they stopped to rest once. 3 days later, the crimson blood cavalry had run for tens of thousands of miles, and were getting closer and closer to the imperial capital. Rumble. 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 There are cavalrymen coming? Wang said. Could it be the Shifang sword sect? Someone guessed. But the answer was soon revealed. Horses neighed in front of them, and the crimson blood-scaled wolves' chi shook them, causing them to fall off their horses. Lu Ming and the others were speechless. This army's fighting strength was not that great? And there were not many of them, only about 10,000. Was it really the Shifang sword sect that had sent them? Was it a joke? Lu Ming led the crimson blood cavalry and stopped and did not attack. After a long while, the troops in front were finally organized. A few burly men wearing iron armor rode out on green scale horses. Who are you? How dare you block our way? A short and stout man glared and shouted angrily. They did not recognize the crimson blood-scaled wolves' cavalry. That's right, unless the soldiers were near the border, it was normal for the soldiers near the imperial capital to not recognize the Wuxia armored cavalry. I want to ask, who are you? How dare you dare to block me? Shouted and shouted Crimson of the King blood, we Crimson blood king with king's royal imperial orders Crimson blood kings. The blood emperors. Crimson man. Crimson blood wolves scaled wolves eyes. Cry crimson blood scaled. Crimson blood crimsons. Cry cricker cried the short and fat man's eyes were filled with vigilance as he asked, Speak, who are you people? Otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Kill. Leave the generals in front alive. Lu Ming roared as soon as the short and fat man finished speaking. Brr. Wolf howls resounded as the crimson blood-scaled wolves began their charge. Without the slightest suspense, the Wuxia cavalry charged forward, and this army of 10,000 men was completely annihilated. Some died in battle, some fled and some surrendered. The generals in the lead were all captured alive. You are the Wuxia cavalry? At this time, the short and fat man seemed to remember something and shouted in horror. Your reaction isn't slow. Alright, speak, where is the 8th prince and the others? Lu Ming stared at the short and stout man and asked coldly. You are Tianyun? The short and stout man's body kept trembling, and his eyes were filled with fear. Lu Ming coldly shouted. I'll talk, please spare my life. The short and fat man screamed. Lu Ming's killing intent burst out, and it was incomparably cold. I'll talk, we received news that the 8th prince and his men are hiding in the East River mountain range. We were ordered to encircle and annihilate them. We are only one of the armies. There are many other armies that set out earlier than us. The short and fat man shouted. East River mountain range? Lu Ming's eyes showed a trace of anxiety. He shouted, Lead the way, let's go to the East River mountain range. The short and fat man naturally did not dare to disobey. He immediately led the way, and the Wuxia cavalry galloped towards the East River mountain range. The East River mountain range was not very far from here. With the speed of the crimson blood-scaled wolves, it was only 1,000 miles away. The East River mountain range was not very famous. Although it was vast, the mountains were not very high and it was not very dangerous. There were also no powerful demonic beasts, and even ordinary people could step into it. There was a small hill surrounded by an army. There were at least 10,000 people surrounding the hill, and it was impenetrable. In the air there were also more than 20 experts standing in the air. Huachi, I advise you to surrender. Don't make any useless struggles. You're doomed and your fate is sealed. In the air, a big man with a battle sword on his back shouted. That's right, Hua Chi and the others were on the hill. There were about 2,000 of them and all of them were in ragged clothes. Some of the bloodstains had not dried yet. It was obvious that they had gone through a fierce battle. Hua Chi stood at the front of the hill, and beside him stood a dozen middle-aged men and old men. Each of them had an extremely powerful aura like a mountain. They were the only experts left in the imperial family. Behind them were two figures, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. At this moment the two of them were extremely haggard. Their faces were pale and their bodies were weak. Lu Yuntian had lost his cultivation, and Li Ping was an ordinary person. The two of them had been escaping with Hua Chi and the others for a few days, and one could imagine how much hardship they had suffered. 8th Prince, you should escape first. With these seniors leading you, you still have a chance to escape. When you find Ming'er, ask him to avenge us. Lu Yuntian said to Hua Chi, Uncle Lu, how could I, Hua Chi, be the type of person to drag out an ignoble existence? Moreover, since Brother Lu has handed all of you over to me and he is fighting alone at the border, I must ensure your safety. Otherwise, how would I have the face to face him? Hua Chi smiled and stood straight. Lu Yuntian sighed. Brother Tian. Li Ping grabbed Lu Yuntian's hand tightly. Ping, I'm already satisfied to be able to see you again. It's a pity that I dragged you into this. Lu Yuntian looked at Li Ping and said, Brother Tian, I'm not afraid. As long as I can be with you, it doesn't matter whether I live or die. Li Ping said. Lu Yuntian looked at Li Ping with pity and said, I believe that Ming'er will avenge us. One day Ming'er will flatten the Shifang sword faction. I believe so too. Chapter 339. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Hua Chi, I'll send you to accompany your damned father. The middle-aged man from Decimo Sword Sect was enraged when he saw Hua Chi ignoring him. Murderous intent erupted from his body. Decimo Sword Sect, you traitors. As long as I don't die today, I'll flatten Decimo Mountain in the future. Hua Chi's eyes flashed with murderous intent when the middle-aged man insulted his father. Haha, you think you can flatten Decimo Mountain? What a joke, the funniest joke I've ever heard in my decades of life. The middle-aged man laughed loudly. Moreover, do you think you can escape today? An army of 100,000 has surrounded the area within a few miles. My Decimo Sword Sect's experts have sealed off the sky and the ground. You can't escape and no one can come in, haha. The middle-aged man laughed mockingly. Is that so? Then how did I get in? Suddenly, a cold voice came from above their heads. Who is it? The middle-aged man abruptly looked up. High up in the sky, three figures stood in the air. One was a young man, one was an old man, and the third was a burly man shrouded in a black cloak and bamboo hat. On the hill, Hua Chi, Lu Yuntian, and Li Ping trembled when they heard the voice. They hurriedly looked up and cried out in surprise. Lu Ming. Ming. The three figures in the air were Lu Ming, Yen Quan, and the golden-eyed blood zombie. When they approached the East River Mountain Range, Lu Ming led Yen Quan and the golden-eyed blood zombie to search for Hua Chi's whereabouts and point out the direction for the Crimson Blood Cavalry. They quickly found Hua Chi's group from the sky. With their cultivation, the Decimo Sword Sect's experts didn't notice them at all. Who are you? This place is occupied by my Decimo Sword Sect. How dare you come here without permission? Are you courting death? The middle-aged man roared angrily. He had never heard of Lu Ming's name before. Just now he had just said that no one could enter and Lu Ming and the rest had appeared. It was as if he had slapped himself in the face. This made him angry out of embarrassment. However, Lu Ming didn't even look at him. His figure flashed and appeared beside Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. Dad, Mom, are you alright? I'm late. Lu Ming said in a trembling voice. When he saw Lu Yuntian and Li Ping, Lu Ming felt as though a huge rock had been lifted from his heart. Before seeing Lu Yuntian and Li Ping, he was really worried that something might have happened to them. Ming'er, we're fine. Why are you here? Don't worry about us. Li Ping said anxiously. Mother, don't worry. Since your son is here, they won't be able to touch a single hair of yours. Wait a moment, let's go together. Lu Ming at this moment, the sword-carrying man from the 10 Direction Sword Sect, was so angry that his mouth was crooked. An aura that was as deep as the sea erupted from his body. It was extremely terrifying. Martial Grandmaster Realm 9th Realm. The middle-aged man was a Martial Grandmaster Realm 9th Realm expert. Kid, I'm asking you a question. Are you deaf? The middle-aged man said coldly. Who do you think you are? Do you think I have to answer your question? Lu Ming glanced at him indifferently. You're courting death. Lu Ming's nonchalant expression almost made him explode in anger. He roared and unsheathed his giant sword. A terrifying sword radiance slashed at Lu Ming. With this sword strike, the entire hill would be reduced to ashes. Be careful. Block it. Immediately, a dozen martial grandmasters behind Hua Qi roared and unleashed their power to block the sword radiance. There was even a martial grandmaster realm 9th realm expert. He was injured and his aura was weak. He must be a top expert of the imperial family. However, a figure was faster than them. The golden eye blood zombie appeared in front of them in a flash. He waved his hand and a claw radiance shot out. Boom. There was an earth-shattering sound. The golden eye blood zombie did not move, but the middle-aged man was sent flying 100 meters away. How can you be so powerful? Who are you? The middle-aged man shouted in disbelief. Although he did not use his full strength, there were not many people in the Burning Sun Empire who could defeat him with one move. However, the golden eye blood zombie did not move and ignored him. Tianyun, he's Tianyun. Someone shouted in shock from the army at the foot of the hill. Apparently, someone recognized Lu Ming. Lu Ming had stayed in the imperial capital for a long time, so it was normal for someone to recognize him. Tianyun, you're Tianyun? The middle-aged man's expression changed. Then he shouted, Tianyun, so what if it's you? I admit that the person you brought is very powerful, but do you think he can save more than 2,000 people by himself? I have 100,000 soldiers here. As long as I give the order, the army will charge. How many people can you save? As long as you leave, I will kill them all. Oh. Lu Ming said faintly. Hua Qi and the others had ugly expressions. On the hill, the other 2,000 people had heavy expressions. 8th Prince, go with the champion marquis first. Don't worry about us. We live and die as members of the imperial family. Yes, 8th Prince, the champion marquis is a peerless genius. As long as you escape, you will be able to avenge us with the champion marquis. 8th Prince, you go first. On the hill, the 2,000 people yelled and asked Hua Qi to go first. If we leave together. I will not abandon you all. Hua Qi said in a deep voice. Ah. Seeing this, the man with the sword on his back laughed arrogantly. Since I'm here, I will definitely take everyone out of here alive. Suddenly Lu Ming spoke. His voice was firm and it reached everyone's ears. Haha, Tianyun, I can't stop the expert you brought with you if you want to take a few people away. But if you want to take more than 2,000 people away, you must be dreaming. Ah. The middle-aged man laughed in disdain. Who said I only brought 2 people? Lu Ming smiled faintly. What? The middle-aged man was stunned. No. At this moment, wolf howls resounded through the sky. Rumble. Then the earth rumbled violently. What's going on? The middle-aged man's expression changed greatly. This is. Hua Qi was startled, then he thought of something and was overjoyed. Kill? In the forest, shouts of killing filled the sky and the earth rumbled violently. Not good, it's the Qixia cavalry, Tianyun's Qixia cavalry. Block them. At this moment, the middle-aged man seemed to have thought of something and his expression changed greatly. Block them? Can you block them? Qixia cavalry, listen to my order, kill without mercy. Lu Ming let out a long howl and gave the order. Kill without mercy. The Qixia cavalry roared, their killing intent surging. In the next moment, shouts of killing filled the forest. The army of 100,000 was completely stunned by the sudden attack of the Qixia cavalry. They could not form an effective counterattack. Chapter 340. The scarlet blood-scaled wolves could walk through the forest as if it were flat ground. Their battle power didn't decrease at all. It was a one-sided battle. The sword-bearing man's face paled as he roared, Damn it, retreat! Retreat? Where are you going? A cold voice sounded as Yan Quan appeared behind the sword-bearing man. Old man, you want to stop me? Do you really think I'm a pushover? The sword-bearing man was enraged as he slashed out with his sword. An incomparably resplendent sword light slashed towards Yan Quan. It was even stronger than the previous one. He wanted to kill Yan Quan in one strike and escape as soon as possible. He was afraid of being entangled by the golden-eyed blood zombie. But in the next moment, his pupils rapidly shrank. Yan Quan punched out, and a fist energy, vast and incomparably hot, bombarded towards him. The fist energy smashed into the sword light and shattered it. The fist energy didn't stop as it continued towards the sword-bearing man. How can this be? How can he be so strong? The sword-bearing man cried out in shock. His voice was filled with disbelief. He had already used his full strength in the previous strike. He had planned to kill Yan Quan in one strike, but he never imagined that it would be shattered by Yan Quan's fist. How can there be so many experts by Tianyun's side? I have to block it. I have to inform the sect master about this matter. The sword-bearing man roared as he used his sword to block. Clang. The terrifying fist energy smashed into his sword, causing it to tremble. His body violently trembled as he flew back like a cannonball, spurting blood from his mouth. Half-step king, this is a half-step king. The sword-bearing man was scared out of his wits as he turned and ran without thinking. I already said that you can't leave. Yan Quan sneered. His figure was like lightning as he caught up to the sword-bearing man in a few breaths. Boom. Boom. After a few punches, the sword-bearing man let out a miserable cry as several large holes appeared in his body. He died on the spot. Kill. Attack together. Hua Qi roared. On the hill, more than 2,000 people attacked together, charging towards the Decimo Sword School's experts and the army. Corpses were everywhere. Corpses were everywhere. The smell of blood was so thick that it could not be dispersed. It was like purgatory in the human world. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared. With a wave of his hand, he tore apart a few martial arts grandmasters from the 10-direction sword sect. He opened his mouth and roared. The rolling blood chi was swallowed by the golden-eyed blood zombie. A thick blood chi condensed on his body. Lu Ming did not attack. He stood beside Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. There was no need for him to participate in this battle. Not long after, the forest was littered with corpses. Of the 100,000 soldiers that the omnidirectional sword faction had brought with them, only a small portion managed to escape. Most of them had remained behind. That was especially true of the omnidirectional sword faction's experts. Every one of them had been killed. Lu Ming, I knew you would come. Hua Qi didn't make a move as he came to Lu Ming's side. No one else heard them. Hua Qi, I didn't expect the 10-direction sword sect to be so bold. When I heard the news, it was already too late. Lu Ming sighed. Now that things have come to this, I can only move forward. Sooner or later, I will make the 10-direction sword sect pay with blood. Hua Qi gritted his teeth. Lu Ming patted Hua Qi's shoulder and said seriously, Don't worry, your problem is my problem. I will definitely destroy the 10-direction sword faction. This time, Hua Qi still brought Lu Yuntian and Li Ping with him. This made Lu Ming very touched, and he had already treated Hua Qi as his brother. I believe in you. Hua Qi revealed a smile, but in the next moment, his expression suddenly changed as if he had thought of something. Lu Ming, there's something important I need to tell you. What is it? Lu Ming asked. It's about the Mystic Essence Sword faction. Hua Qi said. Mystic Essence Sword faction? Lu Ming was puzzled. Yes, not long ago, my father received news that the Duanmu family of the Mystic Essence Sword faction had already sided with the omnidirectional sword faction. These years, they have been secretly working for the omnidirectional sword faction. If it wasn't for my father's spies in the 5 major sects, I'm afraid we wouldn't have found out. Hua Qi said solemnly. What? Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming, this matter should be absolutely true. My father originally planned to pass this news to the Mystic Essence Sword faction sect master, but before he could do so, that bastard sky-suppressing king started to rebel. Hua Qi gritted his teeth. The Duanmu family actually sided with the omnidirectional sword faction? I should have thought of this. Lu Ming's heart rippled as he muttered in his heart. He had been suspicious for a long time. He knew from Hua Qi that the Silver Wolf Pavilion was an assassin group nurtured by the omnidirectional sword faction, and the Duanmu family sect master had repeatedly sent assassins from the Silver Wolf Pavilion to kill him. He used to think that the Duanmu family had spent money to hire the assassins from the Silver Wolf Pavilion, but now it seemed that it wasn't the case. Not good, the Mystic Essence Sword faction is in danger. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed. Lu Ming, I'm also worried about this. The omnidirectional sword faction has been scheming for a long time. First, it was the Ghost Moon Saber sect with the omnidirectional sword faction spies, then it was our imperial family, and the sky-suppressing king was already a member of the omnidirectional sword faction. Now, the omnidirectional sword faction will definitely use the same method to defeat the Mystic Essence sword faction. Once the Mystic Essence sword faction is destroyed, the Blazing Sun Empire will only have the Scarlet Cloud Valley left. It's only a matter of time before the Blazing Sun Empire is destroyed. At that time, the omnidirectional sword faction will unify the Blazing Sun Empire, and will really suffer a crushing defeat. Hua Qi said, his tone was filled with worry. We must stop this from happening. No matter what, the Mystic Essence Sword faction cannot be destroyed. I'll send you guys to the Immortal Gazing Pass and immediately rush to the Mystic Essence Sword faction. I hope I can make it in time. Lu Ming said. Immortal Gazing Pass? Alright, once I reach the Immortal Gazing Pass, I'll announce the crimes of the Omnidirectional Sword faction and the Sky Suppressing King, and gather the geniuses to oppose the Omnidirectional Sword faction's forces and army. To fight against the Omnidirectional Sword faction together. Hua Qi nodded. The two of them had reached an agreement. At this time, the battle at the scene had ended and the army had been assembled. Let's go to the Immortal Gazing Pass. Lu Ming waved his hand. With Lu Ming and the Scarlet Blood Cavalry escorting them, the journey was smooth and unimpeded. Strangely, the Omnidirectional Sword faction didn't send out any experts to chase after them. This made Lu Ming and Hua Qi frown. The Omnidirectional Sword faction didn't send anyone to chase after them. It was very likely that the Omnidirectional Sword faction's manpower was used elsewhere. If they couldn't spare any manpower, where could they be used? Now, only the Mystic Essence Sword faction and the Scarlet Cloud Valley could be used. Everyone rode at full speed. 3 days later, they were not far from the Immortal Gazing Pass. At this time, Ming Meng had already sent out an army to welcome them. Hua Qi, then we'll split up. Lu Ming said to Hua Qi, Alright Lu Ming, I'll lead the army to support you as soon as possible. Hua Qi said. Ming, be careful. Li Ping said worriedly. Father, mother, don't worry. I'll be fine. Lu Ming nodded and said goodbye to everyone. Scarlet Blood Cavalry, set out with me. Lu Ming shouted. Let's go. Chapter 341. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was completely engulfed in the flames of war. Each of the 5 great academies was in an intense battle. Countless people roared. Sword chi crisscrossed and blood splattered everywhere. At every moment there were people dying in battle. Outside the 5 great academies, shouts of killing shook the sky. Countless soldiers in iron armor were fighting and corpses were everywhere. Boom. Tens of thousands of meters above the Mystic Essence Sword sect, 2 dazzling sword lights clashed as if they could split the heavens apart. Tens of thousands of sword chi swept out, and the collision between the 2 forces was terrifying. Duanmu Tsanghai, why did your Duanmu clan betray the Mystic Origin Sword sect? The Mystic Essence Sword sect has treated you well. Sect Master Lin Shui looked up to the sky and howled, his voice filled with grief and indignation. The 2 people in the air were Lin Shui and the Duanmu clan's ancestor, Duanmu Tsanghai, the White Tiger Institute's Dean Duanmu Pajuan's father. It's very simple. My Duanmu clan has worked hard for the Mystic Essence Sword sect for close to 1,000 years, but we can only occupy 1 courtyard. The Mystic Essence Sword sect should have belonged to my Duanmu clan long ago. A cold smile appeared on Duanmu Tsanghai's aged face. Haha, so the 10 Direction Sword sect made such a promise to you. However, Duanmu Tsanghai, do you think that the 10 Direction Sword sect will honor their promise after the matter is settled? How can you still be so naive at your age? Lin Shui smiled bitterly. You don't have to worry about that. You can go in peace. The Mystic Essence Sword sect will definitely prosper in my hands. Also, don't think that the Crimson Cloud Valley will come to your rescue. 10 Direction Sword faction and Heaven Evil sect have gathered a large number of experts in the Crimson Cloud Valley. Now the Crimson Cloud Valley can't even take care of itself. As long as we kill you and combine our forces, we can flatten the Crimson Cloud Valley in one fell swoop. Duanmu Tsanghai sneered. Boom. Boom. The 2 of them exchanged a few moves in a row, and the space around them shook crazily. This was a life-and-death battle between half-step kings. Screams of agony could be heard all over the Mystic Essence Sword sect, causing Lin Shui's eyes to turn bloodshot. Every scream represented the death of a Mystic Essence Sword sect disciple. Lin Shui's heart was bleeding. Back when the Ghost Moon Saber sect was in trouble, Lin Shui knew that something was wrong. She called back most of the experts from the Mystic Essence Sword sect just in case. Furthermore, hundreds of thousands of elite soldiers were deployed from various cities to guard the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Sure enough, 5 days ago the 10 Direction Sword sect launched a large-scale attack. Other than hundreds of thousands of soldiers, there was also a large number of martial arts experts. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was embroiled in a war. However, the Mystic Essence Sword sect had the home field advantage. With the 5 great academies as the base, they activated the 5 ultimate formation. With the 5 ultimate formations guarding, the 10-direction sword sect could not break in at all. The two sides fought fiercely for more than 4 days, but the Mystic Essence Sword sect was as steady as a mountain. But Lin Shui and the others never imagined that at this moment, the Duanmu clan would rebel. After destroying the 5 ultimate formation, they joined forces with the omnidirectional sword sect to attack the Mystic Essence Sword sect. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was caught off guard and suffered countless casualties. In the end, under the leadership of Lin Shui, they fought back desperately and barely managed to stabilize the situation. High up in the sky not far from the two of them, there were also 2 people engaged in an intense battle. The shockwaves from the battle between these 2 people were not the slightest bit smaller than Duanmu Canghai and Lin Shui's. They were also 2 half-step kings. One was from the 10-direction sword sect, and the other was from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. The Mystic Essence Sword sect originally had 3 half-step kings. Now that Duanmu Canghai had rebelled, there were only 2 left. Other than the peak battle in the sky, there were also fierce battles going on in other places. In the Vermilion Bird Courtyard in the south, the Vermilion Bird Courtyard's Dean Yanlan and the White Tiger Courtyard's Dean Duanmu Pajuan were engaged in an intense battle. In the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Mulans roared. Sword light surged and killed an expert from the 10-direction sword sect. By now, Mulans's cultivation had already broken through the martial ancestor realm. Moreover, it had reached a very high level. In the Azure Dragon Courtyard in the east, Zhang Muyun became one with his sword and fought an expert from the 10-direction sword sect. In the White Tiger Courtyard in the west, Ling Tian roared, Duanmu clan, I swear that I will never be on the same side as you. Ling Tian roared and rushed down the White Tiger Courtyard, his body covered in blood. In the sky above the Qilin Courtyard, the battle between the 2 young people attracted a lot of attention. Many people who were in the middle of the battle looked over from time to time. Because these 2 people were too famous in the Mystic Essence Sword sect. One of the 6 heroes, Feng Wuji. The other person was actually Duanmu Lin. At this moment, Duanmu Lin and Feng Wuji were in an intense battle. The 2 of them continued to attack and their power was extremely terrifying. Duanmu Lin is too shocking. He can actually fight Feng Wuji to a draw? Some time ago, Feng Wuji had already broken through to the 4th realm of the martial ancestor realm. I didn't expect Duanmu Lin to be on par with him. Shocking, this is too shocking. Many elders and deacons of the Mystic Essence Sword sect could not help but be shocked in the midst of the battle. Duanmu Lin was a rare genius and his cultivation speed was shocking. However, he still managed to catch up with the others who were constantly improving. Feng Wuji, this is your strength? You're really disappointing. If I was born a few years earlier, I would have trampled you under my feet. Duanmu Lin roared arrogantly. Duanmu Lin, no matter how strong you are, you're just a traitor. The world will punish you. Feng Wuji roared. What a joke. Feng Wuji, you're really ridiculous. History is written by the victors. Don't you know that? Duanmu Lin laughed loudly. The 2 of them continued to fight and it was extremely intense. In the sky, the battle between Lin Shui and Duanmu Canghai was getting more and more intense. Duanmu Canghai, you're too naive to think that you can destroy us. Lin Shui shouted angrily. Who said it's only them? At this moment, a domineering voice came from afar. Hiss hiss. Then a hissing sound could be heard. Hearing this sound, Duanmu Canghai was overjoyed and laughed. Ah, we're finally here. Whoosh. In the distance, a fiery red light flashed like lightning. In the next moment, the light disappeared and a huge and ferocious centipede appeared in the sky. This centipede was really incomparably huge. It was more than 100 meters long and was red all over. The most shocking thing was that it even had 3 pairs of huge fleshy wings. Both sides of its body were densely packed with claws. The claws cut through the void like blades. On the centipede's back stood dozens of figures. Each of them had a strong aura like a mountain. The person in the lead was wearing iron armor and his aura was as deep as the sea. Thousand-legged centipede Een Moon South Guardian Monarch. Lin Shui roared in disbelief. On the giant centipede's back was the Een Moon Empire's South Guardian Monarch Een Tianjua. Haha, Lin Shui, how about we destroy your Mystic Essence Sword sect together? Een Tianjua laughed. Despicable and shameless, you actually colluded with the Een Moon Empire. Lin Shui roared angrily. What colluding? It's just cooperation. There are no eternal enemies in the world, only eternal benefits. Lin Shui, you're a sect leader. Don't you know this? No wonder you're defeated. Chapter 342. Benefits. In Tianjue, what benefits did the Decimo Sword Sect give you? Aren't you afraid that the Decimo Sword Sect will unify the Blazing Sun Empire and become stronger and target the Yin Moon Empire? Lin Shui looked at Yin Tianjue. Haha, it's fine to tell you. The Ghost Moon Saber Sect's territory belongs to the Yin Moon Empire. Yin Tianjue laughed. What? The Decimo Sword Sect is betraying the Empire. Lin Shui roared. The Decimo Sword Sect had given the Ghost Moon Saber Sect's territory to the Yin Moon Empire. That was 1/5 of the Blazing Sun Empire's territory. The 10-Direction Sword Sect was simply unscrupulous. Lin Shui, this is a win-win situation. Alright, your Mystic Essence Sword Sect is doomed. Kill. Yin Tianjue ordered. Shwa. Dozens of figures flew out from the centipede's back and charged toward the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. In an instant, dozens of Mystic Essence Sword Sect disciples were killed. These dozens of people were all peak experts. Even the weakest was at the 6th level of the Martial Ancestor Realm. There were even 3 at the 9th level of the Martial Ancestor Realm. The moment they attacked, the situation changed. The Mystic Essence Sword Sect was at a disadvantage. Yin Tianjue didn't attack. His target was Lin Shui. Duanmu Canghai, how about you and I team up and kill Lin Shui? Yin Tianjue sneered. That's what I want. Duanmu Canghai's turbid eyes revealed a dark and cold expression. Boom. Their auras exploded and swept across the sky. The clouds in the sky were turned to dust by their auras. The high-grade 4 battle sword in Lin Shui's hand buzzed as a sword chi shot into the sky. He looked at Duanmu Canghai and Yin Tianjue with a serious expression. Facing 2 half-step kings, he didn't have any confidence. He knew that he had to go all out today. Otherwise, the Mystic Essence Sword Sect wouldn't survive. Kill. Duanmu Canghai and Yin Tianjue roared as they each attacked. Duanmu Canghai used a sword, while Yin Tianjue used a battle spear. The 2 attacks advanced side by side towards Lin Shui. Mysterious Heaven Sword Art. Lin Shui let out a long cry. Her entire body seemed to have turned into a divine sword. Soaring sword will fill the air. A dazzling sword light seemed to have come from the heavens and slashed out violently. Boom. 2 heaven-shaking, earth-shattering explosions resounded throughout the area. Looking up from below, one could see that the entire sky was filled with streaks of sword chi and battle spear light. The space was trembling and it was extremely terrifying. Whoosh. The next moment, a figure retreated crazily. Due to the speed, it swept up a blast of air that was thousands of meters long. It was Lin Shui. He retreated a few thousand meters, groaned, and spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Shui, you are not a match for the 2 of us. Today you will die. Yin Tianjue sneered. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Lin Shui's eyes flashed with madness. You want to drag us down with you? Haha, Lin Shui, you think too highly of yourself. Die. Yin Tianjue laughed out loud. His aura was like a mountain as he charged towards Lin Shui again. At the same time, Duanmu Canghai also attacked Lin Shui. Boom. Another 2 earth-shattering explosions. Lin Shui retreated again. He coughed out blood and his face was pale. Facing 2 experts of the same level, he was no match for them. He was completely suppressed. They were both at the Half-King realm and had cultivated force to the limit. They were both at the peak of the Burning Sun Empire and the Dark Moon Empire. Who was weaker than the other? Lin Shui was no match for the 2 of them. Haha, Lin Shui, die. Yin Tianjue roared. His battle spear pierced through the air and turned into a huge spear that was a few hundred meters long. He charged towards Lin Shui. Lin Shui, let me send you on your way. Duanmu Canghai sneered. His sword light shocked the sky. Endless energy burst out from his old body. A sword light slashed towards Lin Shui. At this moment, heaven and earth shook violently. A blade light slashed over from afar. This saber beam was several hundred meters long and black in color. The most shocking thing was that when this saber beam slashed through the void, it was accompanied by a series of shrill screams that sounded like the screams of countless evil spirits. The target of this blade light was Yin Tianjue. Ghost King Purgatory slash. Yin Tianjue exclaimed. His expression changed as he roared. He forcefully changed the direction of the spear in his hand and blasted it towards the blade light. Yin Tianjue's body trembled slightly as he took a few steps back. Every step he took would cause an explosion in the air. Whoosh. The blade light dissipated. An old man in a black robe embroidered with a black moon appeared in the air. Old Shangguan, it's really you? Yin Tianjue said with a gloomy expression. Ghost Moon Saber Sect's old ancestor, Shangguan Ming. Lin Shui was delighted. He thought that Shangguan Ming had died in the battle after the Ghost Moon Saber Sect was destroyed. Now it seemed that Shangguan Ming was still alive. Old Shangguan, I didn't kill you last time. This time you're here to die. This is the will of the heavens. Yin Tianjue sneered. Yin Tianjue and the Decimo Sword Sect. I won't let you succeed even if I have to risk my life. Shangguan Ming's face was filled with hatred. He wanted to take revenge for the Ghost Moon Saber Sect's destruction. Shangguan Ming, you old bones. You'd better die soon. At this moment, a cold voice came from afar. Then, a slender figure with his hands behind his back walked in the air. In an instant he appeared in front of them. Qiu Wuyang. Lin Shui and Shangguan Ming's expressions changed drastically. The Decimo Sword Sect master Qiu Wuyang was nearby. Shangguan Ming, I know you're not satisfied and want to take revenge. That's why I didn't make a move just now. I wanted to lure you out and get rid of you together. Qiu Wuyang said indifferently. His figure flashed as he, Duanmu Canghai and Yin Tianjue formed a triangle, surrounding Lin Shui and Shangguan Ming. Lin Shui and Shangguan Ming leaned against each other, their expressions ugly. Qiu Wuyang had planned out everything in his plan. Every step was interconnected, leaving no chance for the Mystic Essence Sword Sect to survive. Ah! At this moment, a long howl came from below, piercing through the sky. Lin Shui and the others couldn't help but look in that direction. There, Feng Wuji and Duanmu Lin were fighting. However, Feng Wuji was no match for Duanmu Lin. He was covered in blood and one of his arms had been broken by Duanmu Lin. Ha, Feng Wuji, you're not the strongest person in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. What 6 heroes of the Burning Sun? You're just a piece of trash. If I was born a few years earlier, you wouldn't have stood out. Duanmu Lin laughed as his aura surged. His cultivation had reached the 4th level martial ancestor realm. Boom. Duanmu Lin slashed out with his saber and Feng Wuji barely blocked it. He was sent flying 1,000 meters away and blood spurted from his mouth. Wuji. Lin Shui was extremely worried in the sky. Hee Lin Shui, you've been utterly defeated. Even in the younger generation, the geniuses of the Duanmu family are enough to crush you. It's time for the Mystic Essence Sword Sect to change hands. Chapter 343. Lin Shui's face darkened. Lin Shui, I heard that Feng Wuji is the disciple you're most proud of. I'll let you watch him die in front of you. Qiu Wuyang sneered. At this moment they were not in a hurry to attack. They wanted Lin Shui to watch Feng Wuji die. This way, Lin Shui would have a mental breakdown and it would be easier to kill her. Feng Wuji, today will be your doomsday. Duanmu Lin's long hair danced in the wind as he exuded an aura of supremacy. His eyes shone brightly, showing his arrogance. Boom. He slashed out with his saber again. Feng Wuji tried his best to block the attack, but he was severely injured and was no match for Duanmu Lin. His body was sent flying like a cannonball. A long wound appeared on his chest as blood flowed out. Wuji. Senior brother Wuji. Countless people in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect shouted when they saw this scene. They wanted to rush over to help, but they were all entangled by their opponents and could not help. Ah! Qiu Wuyang, Duanmu Canghai and Yin Tianjue laughed in the sky. A few figures looked up from below where Feng Wuji and Duanmu Lin were fighting. One of them was graceful. It was Lu Yao. The others were the experts of the Duanmu clan who were responsible for protecting her. Lu Yao was here to witness the rise of Duanmu Lin. At this moment, Lu Yao had a complicated look in her eyes. She was also surprised that the Duanmu clan had betrayed the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. However, she felt relieved after thinking about it. That's even better. With the Duanmu clan replacing the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, my status will be even higher in the future. Now that I've reached the 6th layer Martial Master realm, I'll be able to break through to the Martial Ancestor realm soon. At that time, I'll definitely awaken my King-class bloodline. That way, I'll be able to live together with Brother Lin. Lu Ming, do you see this? Brother Lin has already stepped on Feng Wuji, one of the 6 heroes of the Burning Sun. Even if you have some talent, how can you compare to Brother Lin? How can you be worthy of me? It's a pity that you're not in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and can't see this scene. If you can see this scene, how inferior would you feel? Lu Yao looked at Duanmu Lin, who was in high spirits. His eyes were bright, filled with pride and anticipation. Feng Wuji, you are the first opponent I've ever fought against. Today I shall step on your corpse and rise to the top. From now on, I shall soar into the skies and shake the world with my name. It's your honor to be able to become my stepping stone. In the air, Duanmu Lin looked at Feng Wuji with disdain, but he was still in high spirits. Duanmu Lin, you won't have the chance. Right at this moment, a clear voice sounded out from afar. Oh. Duanmu Lin's gaze turned cold as he stared into the distance. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the distance, 3 streaks of rainbow light shot over. Who are you? You are courting death. An expert from the 10 Direction Sword sect shouted and charged towards the 3 rainbow lights. Chi-chi. A few claw radiances flew out and tore a few 6th Martial Ancestor Realm experts from the Shifang Sword sect into pieces. Whoosh, whoosh. When the rainbow lights dissipated, 3 figures appeared in the air. It's you? The Marquis of Champion Tianyun. Someone shouted the moment the 3 figures appeared. Everyone in the Mystic Essence Sword sect who was in the midst of a fierce battle was shocked. They could not help but look over. The Marquis of Champion Tianyun was famous in the Blazing Sun Empire. But why did he suddenly appear here? The 3 figures who had suddenly appeared were Lu Ming Yen Quan, and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie. The Immortal Gazing Pass was not far from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Lu Ming led 30,000 red blood armored cavalry and finally arrived at the Mystic Essence Sword sect after more than a day's journey. At this moment, Lu Ming Yen Quan and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie were the first to arrive at the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Lu Ming could not help but speak when he saw Duanmu Lin's arrogant look. Duanmu Lin's face turned serious as he looked at Lu Ming. Duanmu Lin naturally knew of the Marquis of Champion Lu Ming's name. Moreover, Lu Ming had killed the Shifang Sword sect's genius Zhou Changlai. Duanmu Lin did not dare to underestimate Lu Ming. This guy actually came here. What about his red blood armored cavalry? Qiu Weiyang's face changed slightly. During this period of time, Qiu Weiyang knew that Lu Ming had led the red blood armored cavalry to the north of the Blazing Sun Empire to rescue Huaqi. However, he had been busy dealing with the Mystic Essence Sword sect, so he did not send anyone to deal with Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming was just fooling around. After he dealt with the Mystic Essence Sword sect in the Red Cloud Valley, he could easily kill Lu Ming and his red blood armored cavalry. It's him. Lin Xue's eyes flickered, revealing a complicated expression. Tianyun, what are you doing here? Qiu Weiyang's voice came from the sky. Of course I'm here to kill you all. Lu Ming smiled faintly. As soon as these words came out, the hearts of everyone present trembled. Come to kill Qiu Weiyang and the others? What an arrogant tone. Haha, Marquis Champion Tianyun, you are indeed heroic. However, in my opinion, you have lost your mind because of your heroic spirit. Well, it is normal for you to lose yourself in your achievements at such a young age. You still want to kill us? What a joke. How about this? I see that you are a talent. If you join me now, I can consider putting you in an important position. In the future, you can become the Marshal of the Army and guard the Blazing Sun Empire. Qiu Weiyang said. What bullshit, Marshal of the Army? Do you think I care about that? Qiu Weiyang, to be honest, I am more interested in your head. Lu Ming sneered. Presumptuous, you are courting death. Qiu Weiyang's face turned cold as murderous intent burst out from his eyes. He waved his hand and a shocking sword radiance slashed down at Lu Ming. Not good, Qiu Weiyang, you are shameless. Lin Xue's face changed and was about to help. Lin Xue, your opponent is me. Duanmu Songhai moved and blocked Lin Xue. On the other side, Yin Tianjue also stared at Shengguan Ming, preventing him from helping. What, Marquis Champion? You dare to oppose me? You overestimate yourself. Qiu Weiyang's eyes were cold. However, facing Qiu Weiyang's sword radiance, Lu Ming's face was very calm as he stood there without moving. It's over. Marquis Champion Tianyun, the hero of his generation, is he going to be killed like this? Many people sighed. No one thought that Lu Ming could survive. Qiu Weiyang was a half-step king, and only a half-step king could block the attack of a half-step king. However, how many half-step kings were there in the vast Blazing Sun Empire? At the very most, there were only a dozen or so. Now who could save Lu Ming? Then a scene that left everyone flabbergasted appeared. Beside Lu Ming, Yen Quan stepped out and punched out. Boom. Chapter 344. Bang. With a loud explosion, the fist energy and the sword light clashed, canceling each other out. Half-step king. That's a half-step king. Someone roared. Many people were shocked. They didn't expect that there would be a half-step king beside Lu Ming. Who are you? Qiu Wuyang's expression turned grave. Every half-step king was famous and they were the overlords of a region. He knew every one of them but he didn't recognize Yan Quan. Who am I? Well, it doesn't matter if I say it. I am Yan Quan. Yan Quan grinned and said, What? You are Yan Quan? Then this little bastard is the one who destroyed the Mo family and killed my son. As soon as Yan Quan's words fell, Yin Tianjue roared and looked at Lu Ming with a sinister expression. During this time he had sent people to investigate but they couldn't find the culprit. He only knew that Yan Quan had escaped. Now that Yan Quan had appeared in this place the answer was obvious. Yin Tianjue, what are you shouting for? Your Yin Moon royal family is despicable and shameless. Today I will settle this with you. Yan Quan looked at Yin Tianjue with killing intent. He took a step forward and confronted Qiu Wuyang and the others. The auras of 6 half-step kings intersected, forming a huge domain. Those below half-step king couldn't even get close. At this moment Lu Ming looked at Duanmu Lin and said with a faint smile, Duanmu Lin, I just said that you won't have the chance to rise. Today you will die. Tianyun, if you and I fight both of us will suffer. I advise you to join the 10 Direction Sword faction. Now that the 10 Direction Sword faction is established, even if you have a half-step king protecting you, you won't be able to affect the overall situation. Duanmu Lin looked at Lu Ming and said. With Tianyun's reputation he didn't want to fight with him unless it was absolutely necessary. Both of us suffer? With just you? You really think highly of yourself. Lu Ming revealed a mocking smile. One move is enough to defeat you. Lu Ming took a step forward and approached Duanmu Lin. Arrogant. Let's see how you can defeat me in one move. Great Sun Thunder Saber Slash. Duanmu Lin roared and slashed out with his saber. The terrifying saber light was even more scorching than the sun, explosively slashing towards Lu Ming. Beast Dao Palm. Lu Ming whispered and struck out with his palm. A huge beast claw appeared and charged towards Duanmu Lin. Bang! The beast claw collided with the saber light. The saber light was extinguished like a wisp of smoke. The beast Dao Palm's momentum did not stop. It carried astonishing power as it blasted towards Duanmu Lin. How could this be? Duanmu Lin yelled out in disbelief. He then unleashed his bloodline in a frenzy. Channeling all his strength, he slashed out with his saber. Block it for me. Duanmu Lin let out a deep roar. The sharp saber light condensed into a sun. However, this sun was like a bubble that was extinguished by the beast Dao Palm. Bang! Subsequently, the beast Dao Palm landed on Duanmu Lin's body. Duanmu Lin let out a blood-curdling scream as he was sent flying over 1,000 meters away. He coughed up blood non-stop and his entire body trembled. His clothes were tattered and who knew how many of his bones were broken. Lin, High up in the sky, Duanmu Canghai yelled worriedly. So powerful. Even overlords like Yin Tianjue and Shangguan Ming were startled. Lin Shui's gaze was even more complicated. So powerful. Tianyun is too powerful. In all directions Yanlan, Mulan, and the others were incomparably shocked. The battle continued, but everyone's attention was attracted to the battle. As martial ancestors, they were able to see the battle from a few dozen miles away. I've said that I'll defeat you in one move. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Impossible, impossible. Duanmu Lin couldn't take it anymore and yelled. He was a peerless genius, but he was defeated by Lu Ming in one move. It was a huge blow to him. Below, Lu Yao was also in disbelief. In her eyes, Duanmu Lin was invincible, but he was defeated by Tianyun in one move. There's actually such a genius in this world? Even Duanmu Lin was defeated in one move. The marquee champion is indeed worthy of his reputation. Lu Yao thought to herself. She looked at Lu Ming and her eyes shone brightly. The second move is to kill you. Lu Ming chuckled and took another step forward. At the same time his body emitted a cold killing intent. Tianyun, how dare you? Duanmu Canghai yelled and wanted to save him. Duanmu Canghai, I'm your opponent. Lin Shui's aura locked onto Duanmu Canghai. Tianyun, we have no feud in the past. Why do you have to kill me? If you kill me, the Duanmu family won't let you off. Why do you have to seek trouble for yourself? Duanmu Lin yelled in horror. Haha, no feud? No feud? Duanmu Lin, you have a bad memory. I've said that I'll return to the Mystic Essence Sword sect and kill you within 2 years. What? Have you forgotten it so quickly? At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly laughed and his voice changed back to his original voice. What? You're? Duanmu Lin's eyes shrunk and he was shocked. Lu Ming wiped his face and took off his disguise, revealing a handsome face. At the same time his bones shifted and he returned to his original appearance. Lu Ming, how could it be you? Duanmu Lin screamed hysterically when he saw Lu Ming's real face. This was too hard for him to accept. The champion Marquis Tianyun was actually Lu Ming, the Lu Ming that he looked down on. He would rather lose to Tianyun than Lu Ming. This was a blow to his heart that was 10 times, no, 100 times worse. Lu Ming is back. In the distant sky Yanlan, Mulan, and the others were greatly shocked when they saw this scene. Then they were ecstatic beyond belief. Haha, this kid is actually Tianyun? This is too shocking. Yanlan laughed. How could this be? Duanmu Pejuan, who was fighting against Yanlan, shouted in disbelief. Lu Ming, you're finally back. I knew you would come back and fulfill your promise. Mulan's eyes were filled with joy. Lu Ming is back. Lu Ming is the champion Marquis, he's Tianyun. Both the disciples and elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect couldn't help but shout. This news quickly spread throughout the entire Mystic Essence Sword sect and the entire battlefield. No one would have thought that the world-renowned champion Ho Tianyun was actually the same Lu Ming who barged into the White Tiger courtyard and killed Lu Yunxiong and dozens of people from the Duanmu family more than a year ago. In the end, he was forced by the Duanmu family to withdraw from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Many people still remembered the determination that Lu Ming had when he left the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the promise that Lu Ming had made. He would definitely return and kill Duanmu Lin within 2 years. Now it hadn't even been 2 years. In just a little more than a year Lu Ming had returned. He had returned in a shocking manner. Duanmu Lin had been defeated by him in one move. The return of a king. A true king, no matter where he went, no matter what identity he used, was destined to not be buried and would shine brightly. Lu Ming is back. As expected, I'm not as good as him. In the Azure Dragon Institute, Zhang Muyun sighed. Ah, I knew he would return. Chapter 345. It's really him. In the sky, Lin Shui revealed a bitter smile. At this moment, Lin Shui regretted it. Back then he had chosen the Duanmu family and given up on Lu Ming. However, the facts had proven that he was wrong. The Duanmu family rebelled and at the crucial moment, Lu Ming came back to rescue them. His feelings were extremely complicated. Damn it. I should have killed him back then. Duanmu Canghai's face was extremely gloomy. Among everyone, Lu Yao had the most complicated feelings and found it hard to accept. At this moment, Lu Yao's body was trembling violently. She looked at the familiar figure in the sky in disbelief. No, it's impossible. Can't be Lu Ming. How can Tianyun be Lu Ming? Lu Yao screamed incoherently. Not long ago, she was still thinking that it was a pity that Lu Ming wasn't here and couldn't see the difference between him and Duanmu Lin. She was proud that she had chosen Duanmu Lin. However, in the blink of an eye, Tianyun appeared and defeated Duanmu Lin in one move. Now she was actually told that Tianyun was Lu Ming. This was a huge blow to her. No, it's impossible. It's fake. Everything is fake. Lu Yao screamed. Her beautiful face was distorted and became ferocious. She couldn't accept this. In the sky, Lu Ming glanced at Lu Yao casually and ignored her as if she was a stranger. Duanmu Lin, I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming said softly. No, I can't die. Duanmu Lin screamed in horror as he tried his best to fly backward. Lu Ming, stop. Duanmu Canghai shouted. A powerful aura exploded from his body and he wanted to save Duanmu Lin. However, he was entangled by Lin Shui. Yanlan, get lost. On the other side, Duanmu Pejuan also shouted and wanted to save Duanmu Lin. However, how could Yanlan let him do as he wished? Duanmu Pejuan, we haven't decided the winner yet. Where are you going? Yanlan sneered as he firmly blocked Duanmu Pejuan. Stop him. Yin Tianjua shouted. Whoosh. A few of the experts he brought with him charged towards Lu Ming. Die. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a thrust, the spear radiance shot out and the 2 experts of the 7th martial ancestor realm were instantly killed. At the same time, the blood essence was devoured by Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't stop as he rushed toward Duanmu Lin. Stop him and let young Master Lin escape. The other experts of the Duanmu family rushed over, but unfortunately, the strongest was only in the 7th realm of the martial ancestor realm. They were all killed by Lu Ming. In the next moment, Lu Ming appeared in front of Duanmu Lin. No! Duanmu Lin screamed in fear. Die! Lu Ming whispered as he thrust out his spear. Puchi! The spear pierced through Duanmu Lin's heart. Duanmu Lin's eyes immediately popped out like a dead fish. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and regret. Immediately after, the vitality in his eyes quickly dissipated. Never in his wildest dreams did he expect that he would die in Lu Ming's hands. More than a year ago, when Lu Ming left the Mystic Essence Sword sect, he said that he would return to the sect to kill him in 2 years. At that time he didn't take it seriously. He didn't think that Lu Ming could catch up with him. However, the reality was often very different from what one expected. Duanmu Lin was dead. Bam! Lu Ming swung his long spear and Duanmu Lin's body flew out like trash. No, Lu Ming, you deserve to die. You deserve to die. Duanmu Songhai screamed hysterically in the sky. His voice was as shrill as a ghost's. Duanmu Lin was the hope of the Duanmu family. Now that his hope had been killed, Duanmu Songhai couldn't accept it. Old man, what are you screaming for? After I left the sect, you sent people to assassinate me. I swore that I would destroy the Duanmu family. Now it's your turn. Gold-eyed, kill that old man. Lu Ming shouted at Duanmu Songhai and then ordered the gold-eyed blood zombie. The gold-eyed blood zombie let out a heaven-shaking roar. Its body emitted a dense bloody light as it pounced at Duanmu Songhai. You're courting death. Duanmu Songhai roared and slashed at the gold-eyed blood zombie. A sharp sword light shot out, intending to split the golden-eyed blood zombie in half. However, the result shocked everyone. The gold-eyed blood zombie waved its claws and tore Duanmu Songhai's sword light into pieces. The gold-eyed blood zombie continued to charge at Duanmu Songhai with lightning speed. Half-step king? Another half-step king? Duanmu Songhai cried out in disbelief. Lu Ming actually had another half-step king by his side. How was this possible? Could half-step kings be cabbages? Even Lin Shui and the other half-step kings were stunned. Boom. Duanmu Songhai circulated his sword aura and erupted with his full power. Just now he had only casually swung his sword. He thought that he could kill the gold-eyed blood zombie. That was why his sword light was easily destroyed. Kill? At this moment, Lin Shui coldly shouted. A terrifying sword aura burst out and a peerless sharp sword light pierced toward Duanmu Songhai. Ah! Lin Shui, you sneak attacked me. Despicable. Duanmu Songhai madly roared. He was incomparably terrified as he circulated his full power to resist. Don't even think about it. Qiu Wuyang and Yin Tianjue roared, wanting to help. However, Sheng Guanming and Yan Quan also made their moves. A great battle between half-step kings suddenly erupted. The entire heaven and earth suddenly erupted. Ah! An earth-shattering scream resounded through the entire Mystic Essence Sword sect. It was Duanmu Songhai. He was facing the gold-eyed blood zombie and Lin Shui together. Moreover, Lin Shui had launched a sneak attack. He was no match for them. With one move, the gold-eyed blood zombie tore a piece of flesh from his chest. Even his bones and organs could be seen. His right hand was missing. Lin Shui's sword light had cut off his arm from his shoulder, almost cleaving him in half. However, even if he managed to dodge, he was still half dead. Ah! Lin Shui, you're despicable and shameless. You actually launched a sneak attack. Duanmu Songhai roared. Killing a traitor doesn't need to be honorable. Kill. Lin Shui's killing intent surged. She hated the Duanmu family to the bone. She erupted with her full power and charged at Duanmu Songhai. Roar. The gold-eyed blood zombie also roared and charged at Duanmu Songhai. Save me. Duanmu Songhai was scared out of his wits. He desperately tried to escape. Unfortunately, even if Qiu Wuyang and Yin Tianjue wanted to help, they were powerless. Their opponents were not any weaker than them. Duanmu Songhai was already heavily injured, and his battle strength was greatly reduced. How could he escape? In the next moment, another miserable scream resounded. He managed to dodge the gold-eyed blood zombie's claw, but he failed to dodge Lin Shui's sword light. He was cleaved in two by Lin Shui's sword. After all, he was a half-step king with powerful vitality. Duanmu Songhai did not die immediately. He screamed in fear. Sect Master, spare my life. Please spare my old bones. Seeing that I've worked so hard for the sect for so many years, please spare me. Duanmu Songhai loudly begged. He actually called her, Sect Master, again. He was simply shameless. Indeed, the older one was, the more one feared death. Working hard for the sect? I think you've been working hard for yourself for so many years. Duanmu Songhai, I'll personally send you on your way. Lin Shui coldly shouted. A sharp sword chi violently slashed out. Duanmu Canghai let out a roar of despair as the sword chi cleaved through his head, cleaving him in two. Chapter 346. Father. In the distance, Duanmu Pajuan roared. As he was distracted, Yanlan's palm landed on his chest. Duanmu Pajuan retreated madly as blood spurted out of his mouth. Die. Yanlan chased after him and rained down a barrage of attacks. Duanmu Pajuan was heavily injured and could only block a dozen moves before his heart meridians were shattered by Yanlan's palm. With a loud cry, he died unwillingly. Not good. Run. Seeing Duanmu Canghai killed, Qiu Weiyang roared and turned to leave. Qiu Weiyang, you will stay here today. Lin Shui roared as she merged with her sword and charged at Qiu Weiyang. Resplendent sword chi filled the void and blocked Qiu Weiyang's path of retreat. Shwa, shwa. Two sonic booms resounded as Yen Quan and Golden Eye Blood Zombies' figures flickered and appeared on the other side of Qiu Weiyang. Qiu Weiyang's face was gloomy as a trace of anxiety could be seen in his eyes. Damn it. Damn it. To think that I would fall to such a state today. Of all my calculations, I didn't expect that this Tianyun, no, Lu Ming would have two half-step kings by his side. It's all Lu Ming's fault. Damn it. Qiu Weiyang roared inwardly as his eyes spun, trying to think of a countermeasure. With Duanmu Canghai's death, the only half-step kings on their side were himself Yin Tianjue, and another expert from Ten Direction Sword Sect. As for Mystic Essence Sword Sect's side, they had Lin Shui, another half-step king, Shangguan Ming, Yen Quan, and Golden Eye Blood Zombie. In terms of peak battle strength, they were already at a disadvantage and could only retreat. Otherwise they would all die here. Bang. Run. On the other side, Yin Tianjue and Shangguan Ming exchanged a move and roared, calling out to the experts he had brought, intending to escape. Yin Tianjue, let's settle this today. Where are you going? Yen Quan saw that Yin Tianjue was about to leave and roared, abandoning Qiu Weiyang and charging at him. Damn it. Yin Tianjue roared as he erupted with all his strength and tried to escape. Clang. As soon as Yen Quan left, Qiu Weiyang's sword chi soared into the sky as the battle sword in his hand was exceptionally sharp. Boom. Even the powerful golden-eyed blood zombie was sent flying over 1,000 meters. Qiu Weiyang seized the opportunity to escape, but on the other side, an equally sharp sword chi slashed towards him. It was Lin Shui. Qiu Weiyang, you can't escape. Lin Shui's voice was cold. Damn it. Qiu Weiyang roared and fought back with all his might. However, after a few moves he spat out a mouthful of blood. Brr, brr. At this moment, a series of wolf howls came from the distant ground. Rumble. The earth rumbled as countless crimson blood-scaled wolves charged over. Lu Ming's Qixia cavalry arrived. Kill. The Qixia cavalry roared and charged towards the omnidirectional sword school's army. The Ten Direction Sword Sect immediately sent out a powerful army to stop the Qixia cavalry. Even though this army was very strong and was made up of the elites of the Ten Direction Sword Sect, they were nothing in front of the Qixia cavalry. The Qixia cavalry could be said to be armed to the teeth. Their equipment and weapons were all taken from the Martial King's storage ring by Lu Ming, and they were all of the best quality. With the addition of the Qixia cavalry, it was simply an army born for war. With just a few charges, the Ten Direction Sword Sect's army was scattered into pieces. As the Qixia cavalry charged, corpses were everywhere and blood flowed like a river. Qiu Weiyang, your plan today is destined to fail. It is impossible for the Ten Direction Sword School to rule the Blazing Sun Empire. Lin Shui stared at Qiu Weiyang. Qiu Weiyang's face was extremely gloomy, and his eyes were filled with rage. He didn't say a word as he used all his strength to block the attacks of Lin Shui and Golden-Eyed Blood Zombie while looking for an opportunity to escape. Schoolmaster, I'll help you. At this moment, a loud roar resounded as a tall figure charged over and exchanged a blow with Golden-Eyed Blood Zombie. This person was the other half-step king of the Ten Direction Sword School. Your opponent is me. The half-step king of the Mystic Essence Sword School also chased over. Schoolmaster, hurry up and leave. The Ten Direction Sword School can't do without you. Leave this place to me. The half-step king of the Ten Direction Sword School roared as his body emitted an intense purple light. His originally tall body actually expanded once again, burning his essence blood. He is going all out. Stop him. Lin Shui roared. Kill. 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 The half-step king of the Ten Direction Sword School roared as he slashed out 3 times. The might of these 3 slashes was unimaginable, infinitely close to a king's attack. Boom, boom, boom. Golden-eyed blood zombie Lin Shui and the half-step king of the Mystic Essence Sword School were all sent flying several thousand meters away. Shua. Qiu Weiyang seized the opportunity and turned into a beam of rainbow light, instantly traveling 10,000 meters and disappearing into the horizon in a few breaths. Lu Ming Lin Shui I Qiu Weiyang will sooner or later wipe out your entire sect. In the distance, Qiu Weiyang's voice was filled with killing intent. Boom. On the other side, Yin Tian used some unknown secret art and sacrificed an arm to repel the encirclement of Yan Quan and Shangguan Ming. He then turned into a beam of blood light and disappeared into the horizon. Damn it! Lin Shui roared as she set her sights on the half-step king of the 10-direction sword school. Although he had burned his essence blood and increased his battle strength greatly, he couldn't hold on for long before his essence blood ran out and was torn into pieces by the golden-eyed blood zombie. Lu Ming's figure flickered as he appeared in the air. Looking at the half-step king's corpse, Lu Ming sighed inwardly. The latter's essence blood had already been burned out. This was a half-step king, and the essence blood's energy was absolutely terrifying. For Lu Ming it was a supreme treasure. Moreover, the essence blood of a half-step king was extremely condensed, and its essence dissipated very slowly. Any random jade bottle could preserve it for a long time. Before, Duanmu Canghai's essence blood had already been stored in a jade bottle by Lu Ming. He could keep it for later. Looking around, Lu Ming wiped his face and turned back into Chen Yun's appearance. Red Blood Cavalry, listen to my order. Kill the 10-direction sword school's people without mercy. Lu Ming mercilessly gave the order, and his voice spread far and wide. Kill? Kill. The Red Blood Cavalry roared as their killing intent soared into the heavens. Kill. Lu Ming also roared as he charged toward the 10-direction sword school's martial ancestor realm experts with his long spear. At the same time, the golden-eyed blood zombie Yan Quan, Lin Shui, and the other half-step kings also charged toward the 10-direction sword school's people. With so many half-step kings joining in, it was simply a massacre. Miserable screams rang out as a large number of experts were killed. Run, run. The 10-direction sword school's people had no desire to continue fighting. Even the school leader had run away, and the other side had so many terrifying experts. Staying behind to fight was simply courting death. They all screamed as they ran out of the Mystic Essence Sword School. The 10-direction sword school's attack this time could be considered a total failure. Buff, buff. Lu Ming waved his long spear and killed a few powerful figures from the Duanmu family. Lu Ming specifically targeted the Duanmu family's people. In fact, the Mystic Essence Sword School's people were also targeting the Duanmu family's people. Even if the 10-direction sword school's people managed to escape, they would not let the Duanmu family's people go. Chapter 347. Chaos. The entire place was in chaos. Screams and curses filled the air. The Duanmu family members in particular screamed and fled frantically. Don't leave me behind. A scream was heard not far away from Lu Ming. A few figures shot up into the sky in an attempt to escape. Swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming's long spear jerked and a spear radiance shot out. The few martial ancestor realm 4th and 5th realm martial artists were easily killed by Lu Ming. With a flash of his figure, Lu Ming appeared on the other side. He looked down and frowned slightly. Below, Lu Yao lay limp on the ground with a look of despair. Duanmu Canghai, Duanmu Lin, Duanmu Pejuan. The higher-ups of the Duanmu family were killed one after another in front of her. Her dreams and future were completely shattered. Lu Ming, it's all your fault. You destroyed me. Lu Yao lifted her head and looked at Lu Ming with reddened eyes. Her eyes were filled with hatred. I destroyed you? What a joke. Lu Ming looked at Lu Yao and scolded coldly. From the beginning to the end, I've never provoked you. You're the one who's been deceiving me, and you've even taken my bloodline. When I came to the Mystic Essence Sword sect, it was the Duanmu family who targeted me and tried to kill me. Now you are saying that I destroyed you? Are you saying that I can only let you kill me and I can't fight back? What a joke. Lu Yao, let me tell you. You only have yourself to blame for everything. Lu Ming looked at Lu Yao and said slowly. His voice was calm and there were no fluctuations in his emotions. He was just stating a fact. Only have myself to blame? Only have myself to blame. Ah. Lu Yao muttered to herself and then laughed maniacally. Swoosh, swoosh. At that moment, two figures appeared beside Lu Ming. They were Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing. After laughing, Lu Yao calmed down and looked at Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing, one in a white dress and the other in a black dress, had a natural temperament. They stood in the air like peerless goddesses. Lu Yao had always prided herself on her beauty, but compared to Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing, she was still lacking. In addition, Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing exuded a powerful aura. When they stood next to Lu Ming, they looked like a couple of immortals. At this moment, Lu Yao's heart was extremely complicated. There was regret, resentment, and envy. Only have herself to blame. Yes, Lu Ming was right. She had only herself to blame. All of this was caused by herself. If she hadn't thought so much in the past, if she hadn't looked down on Lu Ming, despised him, and even deprived him of his bloodline because of his decadence, she wouldn't have pursued Lu Ming and stayed by his side obediently. Then, standing beside Lu Ming, the one who was envied by countless people wouldn't be anyone else but her. At this moment, she finally understood the meaning of the saying, "Don't look down on a poor young man." People would always have their ups and downs. But a low point was only temporary. As long as one didn't die, they would eventually rise. Envious of the prosperity and brilliance of others, but ignoring the brilliance and potential of those around me. In the end, it's all for nothing. Was I wrong? Perhaps I was really wrong. Lu Yao suddenly let out a long sigh. Huff. Suddenly the true qi in Lu Yao's body went berserk. Streaks of fiery true qi rushed out from Lu Yao's body. Puchi. Then Lu Yao's body trembled and she spat out a mouthful of blood. Her qi rapidly weakened until she was like an ordinary person. Her cultivation was destroyed. Lu Yao had gone through so many ups and downs in such a short period of time. Her state of mind had gone through so many ups and downs that it actually caused her to collapse and her cultivation to be destroyed. Lu Yao collapsed on the ground. Her eyes were unfocused and filled with despair. At this moment, the scenes that had happened along the way appeared in Lu Yao's mind. She suddenly realized that only the 3 years she had spent with Lu Ming were truly happy. Later on, when she pursued more, it became even more tiring. After a while, Lu Yao suddenly burst into tears. She looked at Lu Ming and said, "Lu Ming, I'm sorry." Fine. Lu Ming suddenly sighed and said, "One has to look to the side. Although the scenery in the distance is beautiful, it's just an illusion. It's like a dream flower. It's also a good outcome for you to be an ordinary person in the future." Then, Lu Ming called over an expert of the Wuxia cavalry and ordered, "Take her to an ordinary village nearby and let her live there for the rest of her life." Yes. The Wuxia cavalry accepted the order and carried Lu Yao away in a flash. A light breeze blew and a drop of sparkling tear floated towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming opened his hand and the tear fell on his palm. "That's good." Lu Ming whispered. "What? You don't want to leave your old lover?" On the side, Xian Yanqing curled his lips and said, "Old lover?" Lu Ming smiled and said, "Aren't you my old lover?" "Meh. Bah. Who's your old lover?" Xian Yanqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming and said while gritting his teeth. However, her face was a little red. Autumn Moon blinked her watery eyes and looked at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. She smiled gently and said nothing. There was no suspense in this battle. In the end, the Duanmu family was almost completely annihilated, and the Shifang sword faction suffered heavy losses. Only a small number of people escaped. As for the dozens of experts that Yin Tianjue brought with him, they were all killed except for him. The 5 courtyards of the Mystic Essence Sword faction were filled with ruins and corpses. The ground was dyed red with blood. The atmosphere was solemn. Although the Mystic Essence Sword faction had won this battle, they had suffered heavy casualties. It could be said that the Mystic Essence Sword faction's strength had dropped a lot after this battle. Due to the betrayal of the Duanmu family, the White Tiger courtyard was almost destroyed. Lu Ming walked among the dilapidated walls. Marquis Champion. Marquis Champion. The disciples of the Mystic Essence Sword faction bowed respectfully when they saw Lu Ming. They were very conflicted. Lu Ming was the same as them, a disciple of the Mystic Essence Sword faction. However, things were different now. Now Lu Ming was the Marquis Champion and he controlled the army. Moreover, he had 2 half-step kings as his subordinates. He had become an overlord of the Blazing Sun Empire, an overlord who was on the same level as Lin Shui. Lu Ming nodded in response. Marquis Champion. Lu Ming saw Zhang Muyun in the Azure Dragon courtyard. Zhang Muyun was covered in blood, and Zhui Yirong was beside him. "Brother Zhang, you're welcome." Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming was happy that Zhang Muyun and Zhui Yirong were fine. Although Lu Ming had not interacted much with the two, Lu Ming admired their characters. Many people died. Duan Gang also died in battle. Zhang Muyun sighed. His voice was solemn and sad. Duan Gang died? Lu Ming asked in a low voice. Duan Gang was the #1 genius of the Black Tortoise Courtyard. He had once competed with them for the bronze ranking. He was a very straightforward youth. But now he had died in battle. After chatting with Zhang Muyun for a while, Lu Ming left. After walking around, Lu Ming arrived at the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Lu Ming. Mullins called out softly as she walked toward Lu Ming. Her eyes were filled with joy. Chapter 348. Senior Sister Mullins. Lu Ming smiled and walked towards Mullins. Lu Ming, I was right about you. I haven't seen you for a long time. Your achievements are beyond my imagination. Now that you've become the Marquis Champion, should I call you Marquis when I see you? Mullins came to Lu Ming's side with a smile and teased him. After a year, Mullins's figure had become even more voluptuous. She was wearing a tight black gauze dress, which outlined a soul-stirring curve on her body. The faint body fragrance kept wafting into Lu Ming's nose. It was full of temptation. She was like a ripe peach. Senior Sister Mullins, you must be joking. In front of Senior Sister, I'm still the same junior brother. Lu Ming said with a wry smile. Mullins showed a satisfied smile as if to say, at least you know what's good for you. Then Mullins looked at Lu Ming carefully. A trace of longing flashed in her eyes, but no one noticed it. Whoosh. At this time, a figure flew over and appeared above them. It was a middle-aged man. Marquis Champion, the sect leader has something to discuss with you in the conference hall. The middle-aged man respectfully cupped his fists and bowed. I'll be there soon. Lu Ming nodded. Thank you, Marquis Champion. The middle-aged man cupped his fists and thanked him, then left. Senior Sister Mullins, let's talk another day. Lu Ming said with a smile. Mullins nodded. Then Lu Ming soared into the sky and went out of the Mystic Essence Sword sect. The Qixia Cavalry's temporary barracks were here. Marquis. When Lu Ming came back, the Qixia Cavalry saluted him. Whether it was Lu Ming or Tianyun, the Qixia Cavalry did not care about them. They only recognized one person, the Marquis Champion himself. Following which, Lu Ming brought the golden-eyed blood zombie and Yen Quan to the Mystic Essence Sword sect's meeting hall. The meeting hall of the Mystic Essence Sword sect was located in the depths of the 5 great academies. It was where the sect leader, the gold-robed elders, and the gold-ranked disciples cultivated. It was the core of the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Back then, Lu Ming had stayed in the Mystic Essence Sword sect for so long, but he had never come here. Now that he had left the Mystic Essence Sword sect, he was here. The world was truly a wonderful place. The champion Marquis has arrived. Lu Ming had just appeared outside the meeting hall when someone announced his arrival. Then dozens of figures walked out of the meeting hall. The one at the front was Lin Shui, and on the right was the only remaining half-step king of Ghost Moonsaber sect, Shangguan Ming. On the left was another half-step king warrior from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Most of the others were the golden-robed elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, as well as the deans of the Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, and Azure Dragon academies. Feng Wuji was also among them. Aha, Marquis Champion has arrived. Please come in, and Brother Yen as well. Lin Shui laughed heartily as he cupped his fists towards Lu Ming and Yen Quan. His tone was extremely polite, completely treating Lu Ming as an equal. Greetings, Marquis Champion, greetings, Senior Yen Quan. The gold-robed elders also cupped their fists. Their feelings were complicated. Lu Ming was once a disciple of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, a heaven's pride. After entering the sect, he had set many records. But in the end, because of the Duanmu family, they had made Lu Ming leave the sect. But in such a short period of time, Lu Ming had made such great achievements all by himself. Even they had to bow their heads before Lu Ming. This was simply inconceivable. Sect leader Lin, seniors, there is no need to be so polite. Lu Ming said with a faint smile. Yen Quan was expressionless. As for the golden-eyed blood zombie, it naturally didn't have any reaction. It followed closely behind Lu Ming. The group walked into the meeting hall and took their seats. This time, it is all thanks to the Marquis Champion's timely arrival. Otherwise, the Mystic Essence Sword sect would have been destroyed by the Decimo Sword sect. Here, I represent all the disciples of the Mystic Essence Sword sect to thank the Marquis Champion. At the head of the hall, Lin Shui stood up and thanked Lu Ming solemnly. Sect leader Lin, you are too polite. I just don't want the Decimo Sword Sect to unify the Blazing Sun Empire. Lu Ming smiled faintly. His attitude was indifferent. No matter what, I still have to thank the Marquis Champion. Lin Shui cupped his fists again and sighed in his heart. He was a little disappointed. It was obvious that Lu Ming didn't have a good impression of them. He originally wanted to let Lu Ming return to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect if possible. But now, looking at Lu Ming's attitude, it was impossible. Lin Shui composed himself and continued, "Today, I invited the Marquis Champion here to discuss the current situation and what we need to do." Lu Ming nodded. This time the Decimo Sword Sect was defeated. They will definitely not let it go and will come back. Moreover, the Decimo Sword Sect and Sky Fiend Sect have joined hands. Plus, they have occupied the imperial capital. No one is a match for the Decimo Sword Sect alone. Therefore we must join hands with the Crimson Cloud Valley. Only then will we have the power to fight the Decimo Sword Sect. The most important thing now is to rescue the Crimson Cloud Valley. Some of the experts from the Sky Fiend Sect and Decimo Sword Sect have disappeared. They most likely went to deal with the Crimson Cloud Valley. What do you think, Marquis Champion and Senior Shangguan? Lin Shui analyzed and then looked at Lu Ming and Shangguan Ming. I have no objections. As long as we don't let the Decimo Sword Sect succeed. Shangguan Ming said. I have no objections either. Lu Ming nodded. No one had any objections. They immediately sent out experts to support the Crimson Cloud Valley. Lin Shui went personally, Shangguan Ming volunteered, and Lu Ming sent Yan Quan. The three half-step kings led a large group of experts to attack the Crimson Cloud Valley. Lu Ming entered the Temple of Paragon and began to devour and refine the essence blood. In this battle, Lu Ming had devoured a large amount of essence blood and used it all to improve the Nine Dragons bloodline. His cultivation base had risen too quickly, and he still needed some time to polish it. Therefore he used all his essence blood to improve the bloodline. Now, Lu Ming felt that the Nine Dragons bloodline had reached the limit of the first tier of the King Realm. It would soon reach the second tier of the King Realm. With a wave of his hand, a jade bottle appeared. There were 9 drops of essence blood in the jade bottle. These 9 drops of essence blood were stored together, and they were incompatible with each other. They were like 9 resplendent rubies. This was the essence blood that Duanmu Canghai had left behind. He inhaled with his true qi and a drop of essence blood flew out. At the same time, the 9 dragons bloodline appeared and sucked the drop of essence blood into its mouth. Boom. After the drop of essence blood was sucked in, it was like a volcano erupting with terrifying energy. The 9 dragons bloodline's body swelled rapidly. Brr. The 9 dragons bloodline roared, and the sound rumbled, shaking the heavens and earth as it started to refine the essence blood. The essence blood of a half-step king contained too much energy. The endless energy was all absorbed by the 9 dragons bloodline. Buzz. Half an hour later, the 9 dragons bloodline shook. There was only one silver chakra around its body, but now, a second silver chakra appeared. Second tier of the King Realm. The 9 dragons bloodline reached the second tier of the King Realm. Half-step king essence blood is indeed terrifying. Chapter 349. Just 1 drop of essence blood was enough to raise the 9 dragons bloodline from King Grade Level 1 to King Grade Level 2. Continue. Lu Ming took out another drop of essence blood and swallowed it. This time Lu Ming raised the second bloodline. The second bloodline was an ancient stone tablet. There seemed to be words on it, but they were blurry and Suemo couldn't see what they were. It seemed very mysterious. Until now, the second bloodline didn't seem to have any other magical effects other than increasing his combat strength when Lu Ming unleashed his power. This didn't match the level of a king-grade bloodline. Lu Ming guessed that this might be because the bloodline's level was too low. As long as the bloodline's level was raised, the second bloodline would definitely show some power. A gigantic stone tablet appeared. Surging blood essence energy was continuously channeled into the stone tablet. However, the second bloodline was now at king-grade level 4. The amount of essence blood needed to raise it was too much. 1 drop, 2 drops. After refining a total of 7 drops, the second bloodline was raised to the limit of King Grade Level 4. Lu Ming continued to refine 2 more drops. Unfortunately, the second bloodline was still at the limit of King Grade Level 4. The bloodline's level is too slow now. A half-step king can only raise it by a little. Ordinary martial ancestor realm level 8 and 7 don't have much effect. The effect is better for martial ancestor realm level 9. Lu Ming pondered and was speechless. He really didn't know what kind of essence blood was needed to raise the bloodline. Martial King grade level? Thinking of this, Lu Ming was speechless. A day has passed. Let's go out and take a look. With a thought, Lu Ming left the Temple of Paragon. After he came out, he received news that Lin Shui and the others had returned. So fast. Lu Ming was surprised. Yan Quan then told him what had happened. It turned out that when Lin Shui and the others were rushing to the Crimson Cloud Valley, they ran into people from the Crimson Cloud Valley. They were rushing to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. When they met, they found out that the Decimo Sword Sect and the Heaven Demon Sect had sent a large number of experts to besiege the Crimson Cloud Valley. However, the Crimson Heaven Valley had not been infiltrated by the 10-Direction Sword Sect. How could it be so easy to break through? However, the people from the Crimson Cloud Valley were also unable to come out. They were blocked. Even if they wanted to save the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, they were unable to do so. Unexpectedly, after 2 days, the 10-Direction Sword Sect and the Heaven Fiend Sect suddenly retreated. Only then did the Red Cloud Valley send people to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect to help. Everyone guessed that the Omnidirectional Sword Sect had suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, which was why the experts besieging the Crimson Heaven Valley had retreated. Lu Ming nodded. The Scarlet Heaven Valley was fine. This was a great thing. Lu Ming and Yan Quan chatted for a while before Lin Shui sent someone to invite him to discuss some matters. This time, of course, it was to discuss their next course of action. After the discussion, the Mystic Essence Sword Sect began to gather the various legions and experts in the area around the sect. It was the same for Scarlet Heaven Valley. 5 days later, Hua Qi and Ming Meng led their armies to the Mystic Origin Sword Sect. Lu Yuntian and Li Ping naturally came as well. Lu Ming arranged for Lu Yuntian and Li Ping to stay in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. This way, as long as the Mystic Essence Sword Sect didn't fall, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping would be safe. The second day after Hua Qi arrived, he announced to the world as the legitimate heir of the imperial family. In the announcement, Hua Qi pointed out that Heavenly King Suppressing had colluded with the 10-Direction Sword Sect and the Heaven Fiend Sect to usurp the throne. They had killed the Burning Sun Emperor Hua Jingxing and slaughtered the entire imperial family. Therefore he gathered the righteous people of the world to fight Heavenly King Suppressing, the 10-Direction Sword Sect, and the Heaven Fiend Sect. After the announcement, Lu Ming was the first to respond. He was willing to lead the army to fight against the 10-Direction Sword Sect. The Champion Marquis and the Scarlet Blood Cavalry were the first to respond. The world was shaken. Then more and more people responded. Needless to say, the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and the Crimson Heaven Valley's territory naturally listened to their orders. Many legions that originally belonged to the imperial family also rushed to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect's territory to respond to Hua Qi's call. Half a month later, Hua Qi gathered an army of nearly 1 million soldiers. At this time, the Mystic Essence Sword Sect in the east of the Burning Sun Empire and the Crimson Heaven Valley in the south of the Burning Sun Empire had formed a triangle. At this time, the 10-Direction Sword Sect and the Heaven Fiend Sect also made their move. They gathered their armies and began to attack. The two forces started a life-and-death battle. This battle lasted for a month. The Burning Sun Empire didn't have a true martial king. The strongest were half-step kings. Therefore, the battle wasn't one-sided. The battle was extremely intense. Although the 10-Direction Sword Sect and the Heaven Fiend Sect were a bit stronger than the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, the Crimson Heaven Valley and Lu Ming. However, because Lu Ming had brought Yan Quan and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie, they weren't at a disadvantage in terms of half-step kings. Even if the 10-Direction Sword Sect was a bit stronger, it wouldn't be by much. It would be impossible for them to defeat Lu Ming's side in a short time. Thus, the two sides entered a stalemate. Added together, the two sides had over 8 million soldiers. During this period, the Crimson Blood Iron Cavalry was extremely eye-catching. They were undefeatable and had made great contributions. The 10-Direction Sword Sect's face changed. However, they had a shortcoming. They only had 30,000 soldiers. Moreover, as the battles continued, their numbers were also decreasing. In a battle of millions of soldiers, it was hard for them to gain a decisive advantage. In Moon Empire, Jinan King's mansion. A group of people was discussing something. Jinan King Yin Tianjue was missing an arm. He sat on the main seat with a gloomy face. He seemed to be thinking. King, why don't we send reinforcements to the 10-Direction Sword Sect and wipe out the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, the Crimson Heaven Valley and Lu Ming? A general asked. Help the 10-Direction Sword Sect? What good would that do for us? Jinan Wang smiled coldly, looking as if he had the pearl of wisdom in his hands. He said, "Isn't this good? The 10 Direction Sword sect is fighting among themselves. When both sides are injured, we'll lead the army and wipe out the Burning Sun Empire. We'll take over the whole empire." King is wise. 10 Directions Mountain Conference Hall. There were dozens of people in the hall. They were all higher-ups of the 10 Directions Sword sect and the Sky Evil sect. Among them, Heavenly King Suppression and Qiu Weiyang were also present. Qiu Weiyang sat on the main seat. "What's the situation now?" Qiu Weiyang asked. "Sect leader, the two armies are in a stalemate. Neither side can truly suppress the other," a golden-robed elder of the 10 Directions Sword sect reported. "Moreover, the other side is very cunning and heavily guarded. We've sent assassins to assassinate the experts of the other side many times, but they were all discovered in advance and killed by us," another golden-robed elder reported. "Yeah, the most troublesome one is Lu Ming's Crimson Blood Iron Cavalry. They've caused a lot of casualties to our side," the golden-robed elder sighed. Bam. Chapter 350. At the mention of Lu Ming, Qiu Weiyang's face darkened, and his killing intent soared. It was all because of Lu Ming that the situation had turned out this way and the Shifang Sword sect was in such a passive state. Originally, Qiu Weiyang's plan was perfect, and he would have already unified the Blazing Sun Empire. It was all because of Lu Ming's interference that his plan was ruined. This Lu Ming must be eliminated as soon as possible. Qiu Weiyang gritted his teeth. It's difficult to eliminate Lu Ming. A golden-robed elder sighed. Lu Ming's battle strength was extremely strong, and he had a half-step king by his side at all times. It was almost impossible to kill Lu Ming. "What about Yin Tianjua? Has he not responded yet?" Qiu Weiyang asked. "No, the emissary said that Yin Tianjua did not see him at all." "Damn it. Yin Tianjua, that old fox, is waiting for us to both be injured so that he can reap the benefits." Qiu Weiyang roared. "Sect Master, there's no need to be so worried. It won't take long to eliminate the Mystic Essence Sword sect, Crimson Cloud Valley, and kill Lu Ming." At this moment, a clear voice sounded. As soon as this was said, everyone's gaze turned toward the speaker. This person was in his 20s and it was Qiu Changkong. "Changkong, do you have a solution?" Qiu Weiyang asked. "Haha, Sect Master and all the other seniors here, have you all forgotten that the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace is recruiting Emperor Heaven Divine Guards every 5 years? Qiu Changkong smiled. "The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace is recruiting Emperor Heaven Divine Guards?" Qiu Weiyang was startled at first, but then he seemed to have thought of something and said joyfully, "Haha, that's right. Look at me, I forgot about this matter. Changkong, with that person's help, there's a great chance for you to join the Emperor Heaven Divine Guards. As long as you join the Emperor Heaven Divine Guards and borrow a bit of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's power, the Mystic Essence Sword sect, Crimson Cloud Valley, and Lu Ming can be destroyed with a flip of the hand." "That's right, haha, why didn't I think of that?" Some of the golden-robed elders of the 10 Directions Sword sect also laughed heartily. As for the experts from Heaven Fiend sect, they were puzzled. "Brother Qiu, as far as I know, the Empyrean Divine Guards are recruited once every 5 years. The people they recruit are all peerless and monstrous geniuses. Furthermore, they are not recruited from the 36 countries of the Cloud Emperor, but from the entire eastern region of the Tianxian region. The eastern region of the Tianxian region is extremely vast. The Cloud Emperor mountain range where the 36 countries of Cloud Emperor are located is just a small part of it. There are many regions that are bigger than the Cloud Emperor mountain range. Geniuses are as common as clouds in the sky. It's not that I'm looking down on nephew Changkong. Nephew Changkong's talent is naturally extremely shocking. However, it's still another matter if he wants to join the Tian Divine Guards. The Heaven Fiend Sect Master said. In the Divine Wilderness there were many large regions. The region where the Cloud Emperor mountain range was located was the Tianxian region. The Tianxian domain was incomparably vast and the Cloud Emperor mountain range was just an inconspicuous mountain range in the Tianxian domain. In the Blazing Sun Empire, Qiu Changkong was able to suppress the other geniuses. Countless young geniuses were overshadowed by him. However, in the entire eastern region of the Tianxian region he was nothing. However, Qiu Changkong, Qiu Weiyang and the elders of the 10 Direction Sword sect looked very confident. It was no wonder that the Heaven Fiend Sect Master was puzzled. "Ah brothers, there's no harm in telling you. Changkong has been talented since young. When he was young, he was fancied by an important figure in the Tianxin region's eastern branch palace of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and was taken in as an in-name disciple. All these years, that important figure would occasionally come to the Ten Direction Sword sect to teach Chang Kong. Qiu Wuyang smiled proudly. What? Nephew Chang Kong was taken in as an in-name disciple by an important figure in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? The Heaven Fiend sect leader stood up from his chair with a thud, almost roaring out loud. The Sky Suppression King and some other experts of the Heaven Fiend sect had the same expression. Shocking, it was too shocking. What kind of existence was the important figure in the Tianxin region's eastern branch palace of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? He actually fancied Qiu Chang Kong and took him in as an in-name disciple. Although he was only an in-name disciple and not a true disciple, it was still shocking enough. No wonder Qiu Chang Kong was able to lead the other geniuses by so much and even made it into the Emperor Cloud leaderboard. Not long ago he even killed a genius on the Emperor Cloud leaderboard. So that's why. The Heaven Fiend sect master sighed and looked at Qiu Chang Kong with envy. Haha, now we just need to withdraw our forces and maintain a stalemate with the Mystic Essence Sword sect. When Chang Kong becomes an Emperor Heaven Divine Guard, we can use a little of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's power and annihilate the Mystic Essence Sword sect and Crimson Cloud Valley in an instant. Qiu Wuyang laughed. Lu Ming, Lu Yuntian, the Martial King's treasure is mine. Let's see how long you can hide. Qiu Changkong's eyes emitted cold, killing intent. Ever since the news that Tianyun was Lu Ming spread, Qiu Changkong had guessed that Lu Yuntian was Lu Ming's father and that the one who had saved Lu Ming was Lu Yuntian. Lu Yuntian endured for so many years because he wanted to pass on the secret of the Martial Emperor's treasure to his son. Now, Lu Ming, you should already know about the secret of the Martial Emperor's treasure. Alright, I'll pry the secret of the Martial Emperor's treasure from you. Qiu Changkong's eyes flickered with ruthlessness. After a short while, Qiu Wuyang gave the order for the Ten Direction Sword sect to withdraw their forces and start their defense. They were waiting for the day when the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would recruit Emperor Heaven Divine Guards. They did not have to wait for long. 1 month later, both sides stopped fighting. The higher-ups of both sides gave the order that even small conflicts could not occur. Those who disobeyed would be killed. This was because on this day, an envoy from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace arrived at the Blazing Sun Empire. Whenever the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace was about to recruit Emperor Heaven Divine Guards, they would send out envoys to patrol the various empires and send out invitations to the geniuses. Only the geniuses who received the invitations could participate in the selection of the Emperor Heaven Divine Guards. With the arrival of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's envoys, both sides naturally did not dare to start a war. They were afraid that the envoys would be displeased. Both sides were waiting for the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's envoys to send out the invitations. In a secret room in the Ten Direction Mountain, Qiu Wuyang and Qiu Chang Kong sat opposite each other. Chang Kong, that Lu Ming's talent is extremely shocking. If he participates in the selection of the Emperor Heaven Divine Guards, he might be a threat to you. Although the threat is very small, you can't ignore it. Qiu Wuyang said. Lu Ming won't be able to receive the invitation. Qiu Chang Kong said with a cold smile on his face. Won't be able to receive the invitation? Could it be your revered master from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Qiu Wuyang's eyes flashed with joy. Qiu Chang Kong shook his head and said, it's just a small matter. There's no need to trouble revered master. He's one of my senior brothers. I've already sent him a message. Lu Ming won't be able to receive the invitation. Qiu Chang Kong said with a faint sneer. Ah, that's great. Chapter 351. A few days later. In the meeting hall of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, the higher-ups of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, the Crimson Cloud Valley, Lu Ming, Huaqi, and the others gathered to discuss. The selection of the Tian Divine Guards is an opportunity to break the stalemate between the Burning Sun Empire and the Ten Direction Sword sect. I reckon that the Ten Direction Sword sect will seize this opportunity to let Qiu Chang Kong participate in the selection. Once Qiu Chang Kong succeeds in joining the Tian Divine Guards, we will all be in danger. The first to speak was Lin Shui. That's right. The Tian Divine Guards have great power. When the time comes, they will use a little bit of their power. With Qiu Chang Kong's talent, he might not be able to join the Tian Divine Guards. But the truth is unpredictable. Even if he becomes a reserve Tian Divine Guard, it will still be a hidden danger. The Crimson Cloud Valley Lord Ling Padian nodded. On our side, we also need someone to become a DT on Divine Guard to compete with Qiu Changkong. Someone sighed. In the next moment, everyone's gaze focused on Lu Ming. On their side, only Lu Ming's talent was unparalleled. He might be able to compete with Qiu Changkong. DT on Divine Guards? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Logically speaking, he should stay away from the DT on Divine Palace because the Palace Lord of the DT on Divine Palace, Martial Emperor De, was destined to be his mortal enemy. However, Martial Emperor De was still very far away from the Tianshan domain. There was no need to worry at the moment. Moreover, Lu Ming also wanted to become a DT on Divine Guard. It was said that the DT on Divine Guards were all peerless geniuses from all over the world. They were unimaginably powerful. Only by clashing with these geniuses could one become stronger and stimulate one's potential to improve quickly. Seeing that Lu Ming was deep in thought, everyone looked at Lu Ming without saying a word. If Lu Ming did not wish to participate in the selection of the DT on Divine Guards, they would not force him. I am willing to go, but I don't know how to participate, Lu Ming said. Seeing that Lu Ming nodded, the others were overjoyed. Haha, it's easy to participate. Right now, the envoy of the Emperor Sky Divine Palace is patrolling the Blazing Sun Empire. Soon, he will send out an invitation to the geniuses of the Blazing Sun Empire. Only with an invitation can one participate in the selection of the Emperor Sky Divine Guards. The Valley Lord said happily. Oh, I see. Lu Ming nodded. Lin Shui. There are countless geniuses. But there are countless geniuses. But there are countless geniuses Divine Guards Divine Tian Divine. There are countless geniuses. Lin Shui stroked his beard and looked happy. Prepare DT on Divine Guards? Lu Ming was stunned. Could it be that Lin Shui thought that he wouldn't even be able to become a reserve DT on Divine Guard? Lin Shui seemed to have seen through Lu Ming's thoughts and explained, Marquis Champion, the eastern part of the Tianshan region is too vast. The Cloud Emperor mountain range we are in is just a small part of it. Outside of the Cloud Emperor mountain range, there are many regions that are bigger than the Cloud Emperor mountain range. Every region has many powerful empires. For example, the area near the Cloud Emperor mountain range is called the Zhenjiang Water region. There are more than 100 empires in this area. The most powerful one is an advanced one, which is 100 times more powerful than the Burning Sun Empire. There are many geniuses and monsters. This is just the Zhenjiang Water region. There are other stronger regions. Therefore, the competition is fierce. Lin Shui sighed after saying that. That's right. In the past, when all the geniuses were annihilated, none of them became a reserve DT on Divine Guard. This year's batch is much stronger. However, I predict that there won't be more than 3 who can become a true DT on Divine Guard, and there won't be more than 10 who can become a reserve DT on Divine Guard. The Valley Master of the Red Cloud Valley sighed as well. Lu Ming was speechless when he heard that. There might not be more than 3 geniuses on the Cloud Emperor ranking who could become a true DT on Divine Guard. The competition was really terrifying. However, at the next moment, Lu Ming's eyes were burning with flames. His blood was boiling. Wasn't this what he wanted? To compete with geniuses and heroes, to break through the shackles, to achieve self-improvement, and to surpass himself continuously. Looking at Lu Ming's burning battle intent, Lin Shui and the rest looked at each other. They saw hope in each other's eyes. Now that the Burning Sun Empire had reached this stage, they could only place their hopes on Lu Ming. At this moment, Lin Shui's expression changed. He waved his hand and a 10,000 miles voice transmission talisman appeared in his hand. When he saw the message in the 10,000 miles voice transmission talisman, he was overjoyed. He said, "The DT on Divine Palace's emissary has sent someone here. He must have sent an invitation. Let's go and welcome him." The group hurriedly walked out of the hall and flew outside. In the sky outside the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, a young man stood alone in the void with his hands behind his back. The young man was about 26 or 27 years old. He was wearing a purple robe and had a noble aura. "I am the Mystic Essence Sword Sect Master Lin Shui. Greetings to the DT on Divine Palace's emissary. I am the Red Cloud Valley's Valley Master Ling Padian. Greetings to the DT on Divine Palace's emissary." Lin Shui and Ling Padian hurriedly cupped their fists and bowed. The purple-robed young man nodded indifferently. He glanced at Lin Shui and Ling Padian and said, "The Red Cloud Valley is also here. That's good. It saves me the trouble of making a trip. After speaking, 2 golden invitation letters appeared in the purple-robed young man's hand. With a wave of his hand, the 2 invitation letters flew towards Lin Shui and Ling Padian. Lin Shui and Ling Padian reached out to receive them. These 2 invitation letters, one for Feng Wuji and the other for Ling Yanqi. When the time comes, let them take the invitation letters and participate in the preliminaries at the Cloud Wilderness Empire. The purple-robed young man said indifferently. After speaking, the purple-robed young man turned and was about to leave. Emissary, please wait. Lin Shui hurriedly called out. What? Do you have a problem? The purple-robed young man turned around with a cold expression. Emissary, may I ask why Lu Ming doesn't have an invitation letter? Lin Shui asked carefully. Lu Ming? The purple-robed young man sneered and said, What's so strange about not having an invitation letter? It just means that he's not qualified. Alright, there's no other problem. That's all. Emissary. Lin Shui gritted her teeth and called out again, Emissary, is there a mistake? With Lu Ming's talent and reputation, how could he not have an invitation letter? Can you help me ask the higher-ups? That's right, Emissary. I think there's really a mistake. How could Lu Ming, the champion marquis, not have an invitation letter? Ling Padian also spoke. Even Feng Wuji and Ling Yanqi had an invitation letter. How could Lu Ming not have one? One had to know that Lu Ming could already kill geniuses like the 6 heroes of the Burning Sun Empire. During the battle at the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, he even killed Duanmu Lin with an overwhelming advantage. One had to know that Duanmu Lin had defeated Feng Wuji. Chapter 352. What? Are you guys doubting me? Or are you doubting the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? The purple-robed young man's face turned cold as he stared at Lin Shui and Ling Padian unkindly. Lin Shui and Ling Potion's faces changed drastically. However, whether Lu Ming could participate in the test was related to the Burning Sun Empire situation and the survival of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and Crimson Cloud Valley. They had to be clear about this. Emissary, this is a misunderstanding. However, it is strange that Lu Ming did not receive an invitation letter. May I trouble the emissary to inform the higher-ups? Lin Shui gritted her teeth and continued. How dare you? Before Lin Shui could finish her sentence, the purple-robed young man shouted. At the same time, a terrifying aura burst out from his body. This aura was as heavy as a mountain and as vast as the ocean. It was extremely powerful and mighty. Half-Step King. Lin Shui and Ling Padian exclaimed in unison. At the same time, a powerful aura burst out from their bodies to counteract this force. However, their bodies could not help but sway as they took 3 steps back. Powerful, too powerful. Everyone present was shocked as they stared at the purple-robed young man with their eyes wide open. No one would have imagined that this purple-robed young man was actually a half-step king. He looked like he was only 26 or 27 years old. It was really shocking that he had reached the half-step king realm at such a young age. Moreover, he seemed to be even stronger than Lin Shui and Ling Padian. Is this the strength of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? A random young man who came to the Burning Sun Empire to deliver an invitation letter is actually so powerful. Lu Ming, who was standing at the side, also narrowed his eyes as his face turned grave. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace naturally has its reasons for doing things. How can you doubt me? Since this is your first offense, I will not pursue this matter. However, if there is a next time, I don't mind killing you. The purple-robed young man's eyes were gloomy as he spoke coldly. He was full of arrogance. Sect leader Lin, there is no need to say anything more. Lu Ming sent a telepathic message to Lin Shui. Lin Shui and Ling Padian let out a long sigh and did not say anything else. Umph. The purple-robed young man snorted as he waved his sleeves and turned around to leave. Just as he turned around, he glanced at Lu Ming and there was a cold glint in his eyes. Although it was just a flash, Lu Ming still caught it. What's going on? I have never seen this person before, and I don't have any grudges with the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Why is there a hint of coldness in his eyes when he looks at me? Lu Ming frowned and pondered. What the hell is going on? Why didn't the champion marquis receive an invitation? Ling Padian had a short temper. As soon as the purple-clothed young man left, Ling Padian shouted. That's right, this is too strange. Lin Shui also frowned, full of worry. Without an invitation letter, one would not be able to take part in the D Tian Divine Guard's test. It would be fine if Chiu Changkong didn't join the Dtian Divine Guards. But if Chiu Changkong joined the Dtian Divine Guards, even if he was just a reserve Dtian Divine Guard, they would still be in danger. Sect leaders, Marquis Champion, this old man has a guess, but I don't know if it's true. At this moment, an aged voice resounded, and an old man with snow-white hair walked out. Senior Hua, what do you think? Lin Shui asked hurriedly. This old man was a senior of the royal family. Even if Hua Jingxing were still alive, he would still have to address him as royal uncle. His seniority was extremely high, and he was in the martial ancestor realm 9th realm. He was the only martial ancestor realm 9th realm expert left in the royal family. The royal uncle pondered for a moment and said, "This old man likes to make friends in the world. I even have friends in the Shifang sword sect. I once heard a secret rumor. It is said that when Chiu Changkong was young, he was fancied by an important figure in the Tianxin region's eastern branch palace of the Dtian Divine Palace and was accepted as an in-name disciple." What? Chiu Changkong is an in-name disciple of an important figure in the Tianxin region's eastern branch palace of the Dtian Divine Palace? The royal uncle's words were like a bomb that exploded in everyone's minds. Everyone looked at the royal uncle in shock. Senior, is what you said true? Lin Shui's voice was trembling. The royal uncle nodded and said, "It should be true." The sound of people sucking in cold air rang out, and the atmosphere at the scene fell into an incomparably oppressive and heavy atmosphere. If that's the case, Chiu Changkong must have done something. Otherwise, with the champion marquis talent, how could he not receive an invitation letter? Lin Shui said in a deep voice, and her eyes were filled with seriousness. What should we do? If Chiu Changkong has such an important figure as his backer, wouldn't he definitely be able to join the Dtian Divine Guards? A golden-robed elder said. That might not be the case. The selection of the Dtian Divine Guards has its own rules. Having a backer doesn't guarantee a stable entry. In the end, it still depends on one's own strength. Ling Padian said. That's right. The others nodded. Even so, the atmosphere was still extremely oppressive. Seniors, there is no need to be so worried. When the time comes, it's just a battle. Who will win? Before the battle, who knows? At this moment, Lu Ming shouted. There was no sign of discouragement on his face. He stood straight and was still confident and determined, like a divine spear that could shatter the heavens. Different situations call for different actions. So what if Chiu Changkong had a backer? At most, it would just be a battle. The champion marquis is right. Things haven't reached the worst stage yet. We don't need to be discouraged. Right now, the only way is to continuously improve our strength. Lin Shui said. After that, everyone returned to the main hall and discussed for a while before leaving. However, there was a huge burden on everyone's heart that they couldn't let go of for a while. Lu Ming returned to the Red Blood military camp's tent and entered the Temple of Paragon. He sat down cross-legged. Strength. No matter what the situation is, as long as I am strong enough, I can solve everything. Lu Ming thought to himself. Then, he waved his hand and a pile of spiritual herbs appeared on the platform. Lu Ming planned to start cultivating the myriad spirit battle body. He hadn't cultivated his physical body for a while because he didn't have any high-level spiritual herbs. The level 1 and level 2 spiritual herbs weren't effective and it was a waste of time. During this period of time there had been many battles. Lu Ming had killed a large number of martial ancestor realm experts and obtained many level 4 spiritual herbs from their storage rings. Lu Ming's level 5 physical body was already at the small success stage. Only level 4 spiritual herbs could improve his physical body. Immediately, Lu Ming waved his hand and 2 level 4 spiritual herbs appeared in his hand. He started to cultivate the myriad spirit battle body. Not long after, the 2 spiritual herbs turned into myriad spirit chi and seeped into Lu Ming's physical body to strengthen his physical body. After refining the 2 spiritual herbs, he took out 2 more. Time passed slowly as Lu Ming cultivated. Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Yanlan's residence. Lan, are you really going to that place? Yanlan looked at Mulans anxiously. Grandfather, now that things have come to this, is there any other way? Only by going to that place can we get an invitation letter for Lu Ming. Only then can Lu Ming participate in the selection of the Imperial Sky Divine Guards. Mulans said with determination. Lan, you have to think carefully. Chapter 353. Grandpa, given Lu Ming's talent, joining the DT on Divine Guards is the best choice. He will be able to unleash his talent to his heart's content and achieve greater success. Moreover, this is the only way to save the Mystic Essence Sword sect and ensure your safety. Mullins said. Lan, but you? That's too unfair. Yen Lan said worriedly. Grandfather, don't you believe in Lu Ming? I believe in him. As long as he joins the Empyrean Divine Guards, he can truly return me my freedom. Speaking until here, Mulins's eyes shone with a certain light. That was the light of her belief in Lu Ming. It's difficult. Although Lu Ming is extremely talented, that's only in the Blazing Sun Empire. If he were to join the Empyrean Divine Guards, he would be very ordinary. It's difficult to achieve that. Yen Lan sighed repeatedly. Grandfather, I believe in my judgment. Please rest assured that nothing will happen to me. Grandfather, I'll go now. After saying that, Mullins bowed to Yen Lan and then floated away, disappearing from the Vermilion Bird courtyard. Lu Ming naturally knew nothing about this. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. In 7 days, Lu Ming had refined more than 500 level 4 spiritual herbs and cultivated his physical body to the perfect level 5 physical body. However, at this stage, no matter how many spiritual herbs Lu Ming refined, his physical body could not break through. It was completely stuck at the perfect level 5 physical body. It seems that level 4 spiritual herbs are too low level. They can't help my physical body break through to level 6. Lu Ming thought to himself. Could it be that I need level 5 spiritual herbs or other level 5 treasures? Thinking of this, Lu Ming shook his head and smiled bitterly. Level 5 spiritual herbs or other level 5 treasures were equivalent to kings. They were treasures that even kings could use. How precious would they be? They could only be found by chance. Let's put aside the physical body for now. Perfect level 5 physical body is enough for now. Even among half-step kings, there are not many who have level 5 physical body. Many martial artists who didn't focus on cultivating their physical body couldn't even reach the 5th grade after reaching the half-step king realm. Only after entering the martial king realm and going through the transformation of the power of heaven and earth and the unique true origin of martial kings, could one's physical body reach the 5th grade. In other words, Lu Ming's current physical body was no longer inferior to those martial kings who did not specially cultivate their physical bodies. Of course, that was only his physical body. His battle prowess was still worlds apart from that of a martial king. After that, Lu Ming began to comprehend the 9 dragons ascending heaven steps. The 9 dragons heaven treading steps and the last palm of the 3 Dao palms, the heaven's path palm, were the martial skills that Lu Ming cultivated every day. However, these 2 martial skills were too difficult to cultivate. Until now, Lu Ming had yet to successfully cultivate the 2nd step of the 9 dragons heaven stomping steps. As for the heaven's path palm, he was completely clueless about it. In the blink of an eye, another 5 days had passed. There were only a few days left before the preliminaries for the DT on Divine Guards would begin. On this day, Mullins came to look for Lu Ming. Senior Sister Mullins, I heard that you went out during this period of time? Upon seeing Mullins, Lu Ming asked with a smile. Yes. Mullins replied with a low hum. Looking at Lu Ming, she seemed to be deep in thought. Senior Sister Mullins seems to have something on her mind. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, since Mullins did not say anything, he did not ask. After a while, Lu Ming's palm glowed. Suddenly, a golden piece of paper appeared. This is the invitation letter for the DT on Divine Guard selection? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he could not help but blurt out. Mullins nodded. Then she opened the invitation letter and revealed the words inside. Scorching Sun Empire, Lu Ming. There were 6 big golden words on the invitation letter. How could it be me? Lu Ming's eyes narrowed as he exclaimed in disbelief. At first, Lu Ming thought that Mullins had taken out an invitation letter from someone else, such as Feng Wuji or Ling Yanqi. He had never expected that his name would be on the invitation letter. Lu Ming, this is the invitation letter for the DT on Divine Guard selection. Take it. I hope that you can surpass Chiu Chang Kong and successfully join the DT on Divine Guards. At this moment, Mullins revealed a faint smile. Senior Sister Mullins, where did you get this invitation letter from? Lu Ming asked. He was extremely curious. The invitation letter from the DT on Divine Palace could not be faked. This was because there were special inscriptions on it that were very easy to identify. No one would dare to fake it unless they were tired of living. Your senior apprentice sister is very resourceful. Naturally, I have my own methods. You don't have to worry about this. Take it and perform well. Mullins handed the invitation letter to Lu Ming and smiled. Lu Ming received it in a daze. Lu Ming, from today onwards I might have to leave the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Suddenly Mullins let out a long sigh. What? Senior Sister Mullins, you want to leave the Mystic Essence Sword sect? Are you going to train or? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. He felt that something was amiss. Neither. Mullins shook her head and looked at Lu Ming carefully. After a while she said, Lu Ming, as long as you join the DT Divine Guards, we might be able to meet again. With that, Mullins suddenly went forward and hugged Lu Ming. Lu Ming was stunned. In the next moment he felt 2 lumps of meat pressing against his chest. They were shockingly bouncy. Mullins's body fragrance wafted to his nose, causing Lu Ming's heart to beat rapidly. Mullins hugged Lu Ming tightly. After a long while she suddenly let go of Lu Ming. Her face was flushed red. She glanced at Lu Ming and then turned to leave. Lu Ming joined the DT Divine Guards. I look forward to seeing you again. Her voice drifted over, but the beauty had already disappeared. Senior Sister Mullins. Lu Ming looked in the direction that Mullins left in a daze. He didn't come back to his senses for a long time. After a long while, Lu Ming finally came back to his senses. What exactly is going on? Why does Senior Sister Mullins have an invitation letter from the DT Divine Palace? Also, where is she going? Lu Ming's heart was filled with doubts. Swoosh. Lu Ming moved and appeared in the air. He looked into the distance and realized that Mullins had already left. He didn't know where she went. Dean, yes, let's ask the Dean. Lu Ming thought of Yanlan. Yanlan was Mulan's grandfather. He should know the inside story. After a while, Lu Ming found Yanlan in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. After not seeing him for a while, Yanlan seemed to have aged quite a bit. Lu Ming's heart tightened as he felt that something was wrong. Lu Ming, have a seat. Yanlan invited Lu Ming to sit down and poured a cup of tea for Lu Ming. I knew that you would look for me. You want to ask about Lan right? Yanlan said. That's right. Lu Ming nodded and immediately asked him about his doubts. Yanlan was silent as if he was deep in his memories. After a while he sighed. Lu Ming, I'll tell you everything. Lana, that girl, is stubborn and refuses to say anything. Lu Ming, you know that I am Lan grandfather, but you have never seen Lan's parents, right? Yanlan said. Lu Ming was stunned and shook his head. He had indeed never seen Mulins's parents and had never heard Mulins mention them. Lan's mother passed away long ago. Lan's father is an important figure in the DT Divine Palace. Chapter 354. What? Lu Ming was dumbfounded and shocked. Mulins's father was actually a big shot in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. This was completely out of his expectations. Since Mulins's father was a big shot in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace, why would Mulins stay in the Mystic Essence Sword sect and not cultivate in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace? The cultivation conditions in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were definitely not something the Mystic Essence Sword sect could compare with. As if he had seen through Lu Ming's thoughts, Yanlan continued, Lan's father is a big shot in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. He is extremely domineering and arbitrary. Before Lan turned 15, she had always been in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. However, her father kept her in check. Later on, without Lan's consent, he arranged a marriage for her. The marriage partner was a peerless genius in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. However, Lan did not like him at all. Hence, she ran out of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in a fit of anger and came to my place. Yanlan's answer dispelled many of Lu Ming's doubts. Lu Ming understood. His invitation letter must have been obtained by Mulins after she returned to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. This also made Lu Ming even more worried. He said, did Senior Sister Mulins return to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace this time? Wouldn't she have to face the marriage? He did not know why, but when he thought of Mulins getting married to someone else, he felt uncomfortable in his heart. That's right. In order to get that invitation letter, Lan had already promised her father to stay in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Now, the only person who can save her and prevent her from getting married to someone she doesn't like is you. Yanlan said. Meh. Lu Ming was stunned. That's right. Lan had once made an agreement with her father. Lan said that the person she liked would definitely be stronger than the genius in the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Sooner or later, she would bring the person she liked to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace to defeat that genius and cancel the marriage. This person is you. Yanlan looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes. Meh. Lu Ming's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The person Mulin's liked? Lu Ming's little heart immediately started beating rapidly. He thought of the various things that happened when Mulin's left. Lu Ming took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He said firmly, "Dean, don't worry. I will definitely join the Tian Divine Guards, defeat that genius, and return Senior Sister Mulan's freedom." That genius. Only? Martial King. Lu Ming's pupils shrank sharply. Now, Lu Ming was 18 years old. He was almost 19 years old. However, Lu Ming did not have the slightest confidence that he could break through the Martial King realm at the age of 21. He was indeed a peerless and terrifying genius. Compared to him, the geniuses of the Blazing Sun Empire, no. Even the geniuses on the Emperor leaderboard were a pile of trash. After a while, Lu Ming's eyes exploded with a strong fighting spirit and an unwavering will. He said, "Dean, don't worry. No matter how strong he is, I will defeat him sooner or later and set Senior Mulin's free." "All right. Lan, believes in you. I also believe in you. However, Lu Ming, with your current cultivation and combat strength, it will be very difficult for you to join the Tian Divine Guards. I hope you can make another breakthrough." Yan Lan's eyes seemed to have a glimmer of hope. After that, Lu Ming chatted with Yan Lan for a while. Then he took his leave. A day later, the news that Lu Ming had received an invitation to join the Tian Divine Guards spread among the upper echelons of the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley. This shocked those who knew about it, but it was soon followed by ecstasy. Although they were curious about how Lu Ming had received the invitation, this was not the main point. The main point was that Lu Ming could participate in the Tian Divine Guard selection, which gave them a glimmer of hope. At this time, the preliminaries of the 36 countries of Emperor Yun were getting closer and closer. It was time to depart. Lu Ming bid farewell to Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. As for Qiuyu, she said that she had not seen Lu Yuntian and Li Ping for a long time and wanted to stay by their side to take care of them. Lu Ming naturally agreed. As for Xian Yanqing, he wanted to go with Lu Ming. His reason was to see the geniuses of the 36 countries of Emperor Yun. 2 days later, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Feng Wuji, and Ling Yanqi left the Mystic Essence Sword sect and headed west. Lu Ming did not bring the golden-eyed blood zombie or Yan Quan. Now was the time of the war. The golden-eyed blood zombie and Yan Quan were important battle forces. If they left, it would be disadvantageous for the war. Moreover, Lu Ming intended to leave the golden-eyed blood zombie behind to protect Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. The Cloud Desolate Empire was one of the 8 mid-sized empires of the Cloud Emperor mountain range. However, it was strong and ranked first among the 8. Therefore, the preliminaries of the Cloud Emperor mountain range were held in the imperial capital of the Cloud Desolate Empire. From the Mystic Essence Sword sect, they had to pass through 8 empires. It was a journey of more than 700,000 miles. It was a very long journey. However, with everyone's cultivation, if they flew at full speed, it was still quite easy for them to fly 10,000 miles in an hour. Including the rest time, they used 5 days to reach the imperial capital of the Cloud Desolate Empire. The Cloud Desolate Empire was indeed the strongest empire of the 36 countries of Emperor Yun. Just the imperial capital alone was more than 10 times bigger than the imperial capital of the Scorching Sun Empire. It was majestic and vast, with no end in sight. On the city walls, rows of armored soldiers were patrolling. Lu Ming glanced at them and his eyes narrowed. These armored soldiers were all martial grandmasters. Each of them had a powerful aura and their eyes were penetrating. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. The strength of the number 1 empire of the Cloud Emperor mountain range was truly astonishing. Walking through the city gate, it was incomparably spacious. The street was 200 meters wide. On the street there were all kinds of beast roars. Many people were riding on various mounts and strolling on the street. Lu Ming even saw a martial artist riding a giant python that was more than 30 meters long and as thick as a water tank, strolling on the streets. On both sides of the street there were many shops. Some of the spiritual weapon shops were shining with treasure. Some of the spiritual medicine shops were filled with medicinal fragrance. Lu Ming and the others walked and looked, exclaiming in admiration. Along the way they could see young warriors walking by from time to time. They were all dignified and had extraordinary auras. One look and one could tell that they were dragons and phoenixes among men. They were probably here to participate in the preliminaries. "Brother Lu, Brother Feng, Miss Xia, let's find a place to eat. We have been rushing for the past few days and haven't had a good meal. Our mouths are almost dry." Ling Yanqi rubbed his stomach and grinned. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The few of them walked for a while and arrived in front of a restaurant. Drunken Pleasure Restaurant was the name of this restaurant. It was 7 stories tall and covered an area of 10 acres. It was incomparably spacious. Guests, please come in. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.